Morning, morning, morning. How are we doing, everyone? Welcome back. Welcome back. Hopefully some of you here. Hopefully you had a good Christmas holiday period. Markets are moving this morning, so let's just focus on that. But wishing you all fantastic festive season. It's not over yet, so we expect volume still to be light. All right, we expect volume to be light. If we focus on the daily chart, all right, we can just have a look. Last week, off light volume. You can see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday into Friday, just straight upside. Obviously, we missed the Thursday. There was no Thursday, but straight upside on a light volume drift. And we're seeing that pullback now. All right, so there was no recheck of this area since that drift higher. We're starting to see it into this low volume node. All right, so that's happening overnight. So we're watching this. We've got a cluster down here, 50-day, 20-day. We've already let go of the 5-day. So we're back testing this. The question really remains, are bulls able to hold this area? We expected this pullback. Unfortunately, it's happened without us. It would have been nice to be involved from this high volume node. You would have seen we talked about this in the newsletter. All right, and in there, the old point of control, 2-week balance range in here. We're rejecting that old point of control. We expect a pullback right into this node. We've already done that. So the question now remains, do bulls defend this for the move back up? Do we go sideways, or are we going to start collapsing underneath this in the market? And we can look for the hourly for a few more clues into what's really going on. So let's have a look there. Over into the hourly chart. Move this one up for you. Make sure you can see it all. All right, you can see here, here's the old balance range, which we are rejecting. All right, this looks a little bit different because it's on the new contract, but that old balance range, basically the point of control, can measure it out here from the week going back to Monday the 8th. Right, comes right in at 922, and you can see we hit highs just over that 946. We peaked above an old balance range inside last week's rotation. Here's Friday's rotation. Friday's rotation, old balance range was actually 22s right here. All right, we're starting to reject that point of control. We lost previous day. We're inside previous week. We're back down to the bottom side of this profile from previous week. So the question really is very, very simple. Do bids come back in here? Remember, this is a low volume node on the daily. The daily profile from the year looks something like this. Okay, so do we protect in here? Do we protect against the previous week point of control, the previous week's value? All right, this is where bulls must come in to defend this. If they're going to hold dips, they really want to be holding into a previous week's value, into here, or a look below and fail and a reclaim for a move back up. If they stay heavy, all right, if there's increased pressure on this market, we have that gap fill potential, right, which we can think about, gap fill potential. And if we lose that, we're looking at the previous week's value into 527 and then down into the 33s. In fact, I'm going to move this down right here, 333s. All right, so that's what we're looking at. I want to first think about dips, all right, as we come into the other side of range, because this, based on the previous week, is cheap. All right, this is discount. So do we want to trade inside? If we can't reclaim point of control and we lose value, then I'll be thinking about this into these levels here. Very, very simple. I want to be nimble today and careful with sizing and positioning, given that we're seeing weakness in the market on a very, very low volume period. Okay, so don't want to be overly aggressive and sized in. You can see this move here on the 5-minute chart, really, really clean. This was once we broke down. All right, here's the rollover. All right, peak above that 2-week balance range, peak above, peak above, peak above, fail previous day. There comes the rotation, fail to get back above those 770s and back into previous week point of control, previous week value area low below us. All right, let's have a look at the broader market because there are lots of things moving right now. Move you up here and go to a 5-minute. And just focus on the spiders. All right, spiders doing the same thing here. Starting to see that rotation. Okay, big highs hit. And starting to see that pullback inside into this kind of cliff shelf into 85s, I would say. So even on the options, I would say 85 is probably a big level. Underneath that, we know that it was going to be the same as before. 85s, 82s, 80s. And you can see this old put wall down here at 70 is long, long way away. But we want to see if there is some response here into 85 on the spiders for that move back up. I would be watching in case we get that. Q, same kind of story. All right, coming down, you can see these key levels down here into, well, 20s if we reclaim, and then 17s below and 15s below is what we're looking out for. The big movers are coming in the metals, though. So big gap up here in VIX. We're still in the low teens. I want to be aware of that. We're still in the low teens, gapping up into an area which we have struggled at before. It's an old pivot. So really the question is the VIX able to reclaim this? If the answer is yes, then we might have increased downside volatility coming in this market this morning. Gold leading, actually probably copper leading, I would say. But you can see a bit of a blow off top here, coming back into what could be an RBS level. We can clean this up. All right, this area here is an area of interest. All right, if they're going to hold dips on gold, I think we're probably going to see a short-term pullback, and it might last a month or two before we go again. The main eyes right now are on the liquidity or potential liquidity issues over on silver, which you may have followed last week, which went on a ginormous pump over the Christmas period. All right, did another 25% last week. We're seeing that kind of blow off top. You are going to see some short sellers come into this market here, trying to capture some of the move as we see some profit taking. So this is the failure to follow through that we always talk about. That's your first failure to follow through, coming back into range. I would be interested in this in a swing short if we're going to come back down into here and then see if they go over a number of months of accumulation before trying to have another run. The bigger problems right now when we're looking at stuff like that is the macro environment. Is there going to be a liquidity crisis in this market if some banks start to forego closures? Apple, all right, big gap down here. All right, had a second attempt higher last week, gapping down, coming under pressure, but coming into potential RBS zone. Remember, this is where we went sideways for a long time. So gap down on Apple. Let's go across the mags. Gap down on Amazon here. All right, big gap down on Amazon, but again, can afford to come back down to the bottom side of this range where it keeps finding dips. Goog gapping down and actually losing a bit of bid, but this is our structure. That's the swing point. Do we find a dip from here, or are we going back into range here? This is unhealthy if we do that for the market in general. We were talking about that before the Christmas period. Meta, same kind of story, back down into the bottom side of its range right now. Weakness in this market, gapping down. Same story here on Microsoft. This doesn't look too good, to be honest. Right into the midpoint of the range. That's the one that I'd probably leave alone. Wait to see if either of these come or a look below and fail, or a look above and fail. Wouldn't really want to be trading Microsoft right now, I don't think. Nvidia, well, there's a blow off. All right, try to reclaim. You have to think about where you are on a bigger time frame, right? Coming right back into this level of supply on Nvidia. It's trying to get up there. Can it hold a dip for that move? Failure to do so. We've got this marked out. It's the key level, which it hasn't yet broken down from. So it still looks okay on Nvidia, to be honest. Looks pretty good, but gapping down today, but just not too bad long term. Tesla just missed those 500s. All right, got pretty good close. 99s. So back into this shelf now. Very volatile stock, giving the whole lot back, and into the 66s. If we start breaking down, staying heavy under that, I would be very careful, because you're going to leave all this volume trapped. So either a look below and fail on Tesla. Otherwise, if we look below, stay heavy. We're coming down into these 30s again. Market's got about 5 minutes left here. We can have a look at some of the broader names. I'd expect some of these look weak. That doesn't look too bad over there on Oracle. Can it hold a bid? I'd say versus 190s on Oracle. Let's have a look at some of the chip names. AMD, not too bad. Let's have a quick look at AVGO and look at some of the beta names. Not too bad either. It needs to hold a bid in here into the 40s. A quick scan through some of these sort of gamma exposure names. RGTI, I expect some of these to start collapsing soon. IONQ is already starting to do it. MVTS probably starting to do it. Yeah. There goes RGTI. These are the ones starting to collapse. It's a shame. Would have loved a reshort opportunity up here, but we will see. We will see what we get. All right, folks, that should have you prepared. You know what we're looking for. Nice and easy today. Don't go forcing big size. You will not want to be forcing big size in a market like this. Make sure you understand where we are placed on last week's value, etc., etc. And as long as you understand that, you've make sure you're positioned correctly for it. Won't get a chance to go through all the good mornings. Oh, you want the volume up? It can't go much higher. Might have to turn it up your end. There we go. I've pushed it a little bit. Probably just need to get closer into it. Do I trade silver? I don't actively trade silver, but I need to be aware of what's going on in silver. All right, so big squeeze out last week. The bigger problem is if there are banks placed short position on their margin requirements went up over the weekend. It shouldn't really affect the banks, but if anyone's been silly and over positioned into it and start to get called out on margin, we've had a pullback, so it shouldn't affect them too much. But if there's a re-squeeze, I'll just be watching the knock-on effect of that. You've got to understand why silver and gold are going up. It is the hedge against the dollar. All right, it's been happening for years now. Asia coming out of backing the dollar, going into a hedge in gold, consequently silver. Copper's normally the leader over in that market. And then if you look broader than that, it's do we have some liquidity issues starting to happen with what's going on with the Bank of Japan, etc., etc. So if you go into a cascade effect of those metals pumping and Japan forced to sell their position in US, bigger issues ahead if that happens. All right, here we go, folks. A couple minutes left. Just watching us. We're balancing right now around the previous week point of control. Previous week's value area low. Is this previous week low underneath us? Yes, into 6 is, yeah, this previous week low beneath us. All right, so just watching that. We do have a gap that never quite got filled down into these 6s as well. So I want to be aware of that. But right now, starting to sort of find a somewhat of a bid. So remember, this is discount last week. This is point of control list last week. So this is fair value. This is discount. All right, this is minus D, discount down here. So we don't really want to be short down at these lows unless we're going to start to roll over and lose a bid underneath and migrate back down to the week before its value. All right, so we're going to watch very, very carefully how we act here into the open. 1 minute left. Morning, everyone. Morning, 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 morning. Yes, well, quite right, CC. I mean, it's just a short-term position where they're all down at the same time. It won't last long. Things will change. Yeah, things will change. What you're just seeing is some risk off across every sector right now, but that will change, and you'll probably go back into some level of correlation. Did everyone have a good Christmas? So that's the most important thing. Do you get time with your friends and families? Market finding a bit of a bid here, as we expected. Early morning. There we go, is the open, folks. So let's just see if they soak this off any of these levels, or there's going to be continued rejection down here. Just going to give this a minute to shake out, especially first day back. Very, very thin on that open into these. So all of the mag red, all of those beta names red, other than Neo, the one Chinese name I've got on my watch list. Everything down other than gold. VIX up over those 15s, so we've got our eye on that. I want to see if VIX starts to reclaim and base out or not as we trade back into the low side of value. Spiders into their 5-day moving average, or in and around there. Market trying to catch a bit of a bid down here. Way too early for me. Just gonna, especially first day back, just let this settle down for a minute. Yeah, I think most people missed that drop. You would have done well to have got that, I would have said. Can we come back down to previous week value area low, previous week low, or are they going to defend this with bids in front of it? That's the question right now. New York Open so far staying heavy. Mag staying heavy. Yes, trying to find a little bit of a bid here. Qs have relative weakness right now. Apple's gone red to green, or at least it's closed its gap. They are trying to find some bids down here at the moment. Come on. There we go. $700 is going to be key, and then New York Open. If they're going to hold bids down here and get back above previous week point of control, they're going to have to get back above these levels that we're at now. Tesla losing. I just got a notification. Don't know why that came up on my phone. Losing that 65. So big level on Tesla if it stays heavy down here. Here's the New York Open drive. All right, so they found bids here this morning. Maybe back up to test Globex, some of these Globex levels now. Into this shelf. All right, we can see clear shelf here into 730 all the way up to 770s. So can they reclaim that shelf at 730s? If not, if there's a rejection there, then we'd probably go and complete the rotation to previous week value area low. I'm just trying to let all this settle down for a moment. I wonder if there's a short opportunity up here on a drive up if they trap bulls up here, or if they're just going to go reclaim and back into value on a rotation from last week. Remember that we can rotate all the way back up to 820s, no problem. It's not a huge move, 660s to 820s over the next coming days. That's the rotation that we're in right now. I'd imagine up here there might be a short between 730 and 770. We will have to see what they do. Just going to give it time. Thank you, Kelvin. Yeah. Well, you know, market's been very thin the last few days. I've barely watched it, to be honest. It's important that we remember why we trade. It's for freedom to spend time with our families. If we're sat here over the Christmas and holiday period, there's probably something wrong with us. We don't want to do too much of that. Yeah, very possible, Josh. Very, very possible. Starting to get stuck into 720s. I want to see a retest up here into 730s if possible. Starting to see some bullish action up here get trapped. So I am interested in the short up here if we fail. But trying to give this a little bit of time to develop. But it's starting to get close to those 730s. Everything above 714 is aggressive buyers not getting their way right now. All right, point control in this session's moved up to 714, 715. So I'm looking to see if we get up towards that 730 or 770 trap buyers and see if some sellers come back in. Market staying heavy across the board right now. Where's Tesla? Right back at that 65. So I'm interested in what happens in this sort of area here. Do buyers get trapped somewhere in here? Do we reject this? Do we reject this? If the answer is no and we do this, then I'm not really interested in much at all. We will see. Still they push. More buyers getting piling in here without the ability to move higher yet. So there's definitely some passive selling up here. Volume very light. ES doing the same thing, coming up to this sort of shelf here into 57s. It's got VWAP above, 24-hour VWAP into 61s. So it might want to feel we're right away up here. 61s as well, interestingly. So both VWAPs at 61s. More buying coming up here, trying to force this market higher. MAG staying red right now. ES could not get VIX could not get back above those 1508s. So some rejection there on ES. I'm starting to get interested. This is this kind of level that we talked about, these 730s, right? 730s and above. You're starting to see some reaction here. Market really needs to close back beneath 715 to leave any buyers trapped. So still not interested yet, just watching at these key levels. Remember, if it wants to squeeze up to 770, if they just lift the offer, they will let it through. That's fine. We can watch higher, but I'm starting to get interested in what's happening on the tape here. It might be that nothing comes at all. These are the levels we're interested in. So some of you I know were long out the gate. I would be taking a partial into here and then holding a runner just in case you get all the way up here if you were long. I'm waiting to see if there's a short opportunity, which there might not be. But here we go. So they lifted, and then we're going to come back for this VWAP test now. And this is the area of real interest and intent, because they've done a big old shove up. How much more juice have they got? Some, clearly. Still going into this old pivot now. We come. Maybe they come and wash people out there. So if you were longs, you're looking good. into the 85s. Big old squeeze. Apple going green. Tesla reclaiming that 65 level. Still just watching here. Very, very thin on this move. Maybe we come up to this previous week value area high in one push, just do a full rotation. Who knows? It's very thin. It wouldn't take a lot to do anything. Into these 800 tests. Still no position for me. Just waiting here to see how we act. Starting to get my head around what this market wants to do in this first session back. Up we go into previous week value area high. Big, big, big shove here. All right, so we expect sellers to come in and defend this. We've just rotated from previous week point of control, never came to value. We're coming right back up to previous week value area high. I would say around here, because we didn't defend this, you'd imagine around here there will be some profit taking on this recent shove up, and then we see what's what. 812 saw a big seller step in there, huge seller. Is we're so thin, it would not take much to move this market either way right now. It can keep shoving it around. No one's really at the table yet. Nice full forward. Yeah, I thought it was you that said you were long pre-market or just before the open. Really nice. And just lock some in here inside of value. So we expect them to protect value if we're going in a range rotation. It is very thin. Very, very thin. Nice work, folks. All you that got long for the move up, really nice. That runner worked quick. Do you see how quickly they lifted it from there to there? Very, very quick. It's because we're a very, very thin market right now. Really will not take a lot to move this. So really, bulls will want a pullback to hold into this area here. They must hold that area there. So there is some shorts coming in here defending this level. Point of control now moved to 95s. If they lose that, there's a possible pullback into here, and then we have to decide what we do. All right, if they pull back into here, remember this is basically midpoint of this range. It's not ideal. And then bulls can have another attempt for this. You want to be careful of a failed breakout over that. So if you're bullish, you want to absorb dips here. If they lose that, the full rotation can happen. And their target right now is to get to previous week value area high, and then this level up here, 860s. This would be a gap fill. All right, this is gap fill. Previous Friday's point of control, Friday's value area low would be gap fill. So if they can absorb on this pullback, that's your only shot left to go higher. What is this blue level I've got marked out here? This can move down. There we go. Okay, some big sellers trying to step in, still being absorbed. So I'm just waiting for this tape to calm down. Apple, 1/3% up. Tesla's lost that 65 again. That's not a good sign for the broader market. If it stays heavy under there, it's going to be a problem. Starting to see this move back towards this sort of grey box. All right, this sort of area here in VWAP. If they lose that, I'd be very, very worried for those of you who have been bullish. Giant squeeze up here so far this morning off very, very thin volume. Somewhat of a messy tape. So value area low on this current session all the way down at 716s. We're right at point of control right now. So market's starting to sort of calm down a bit. Tesla reclaimed 65 again. So it's a big over under that level. Big, big over under. Silver not able to get back above those previous lows here. Keeps rejecting 72s. Still weakness in silver. Market getting a bit wonky here. Remember, we've got news at 10 o'clock as well, folks. Doing on these spiders. Rejecting that old low on the spiders as well. Is that Friday's low? Yeah, previous day low still being rejected on the Friday on the spiders, but still finding a bid off that 5-day and VWAP. So market just in a small rotation here while it makes its mind, starting to build a bit of volume out in this area that we're at right now. Dips so far holding, not quite coming to this level yet. There are some buyers stuck above 14s on this auction, but not a lot. But there were some buyers. Sellers got aggressive from 12s. They've tried again to get aggressive at 94 and not had success. So that's kind of the rotation right now, is sort of from 95 to 14s, I would say. And we can see if there's follow through or if buyers succeed in getting back up to previous week value area high. And just see what we get. Yeah, I want to do some giveaways today. Not expecting too much of a trading session, but yeah, smash that like button. We'll give away some Apex accounts and maybe some other stuff later on. Stuck in balance right now, in rotation. It's definitely thin. Like at 9:41.30, we saw some big sellers step on the tape. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in a row, just plummeting the market about 25 points, and then it got absorbed off pretty much nothing. So it is thin out here still. And we're starting to build out this range here. We can put some volume on now because we've been here a little while. There we go. Thank you, darling. So you can see this shelf starting to be built. If we lose this shelf, we're very thin. If they don't catch a bid, if they don't do the old bear trap in here, all right, if they don't catch a bid, we're coming right back down into this because we're very thin. So they need to catch a bid here for the sort of bear trap kind of look. Otherwise, if they start doing something like this and collapsing, we're going to come right back down. So just watching this shelf as it starts to build out a little bit here. Here we go. So starting to leave this shelf. So if they don't find a bid here, it will get very, very weak. It's very, very thin. So I'm watching this carefully. Tape starting to get a bit more aggressive. There's a bid down at 770. I want to see if we come into this sort of 770 level. He's in my grey box. VWAP's kind of around there, just underneath. And he is bidding on this tape here. Is there much below? Yeah, so 75 down to 65 they're sort of bidding at right now. So just waiting to see if we come down into that and hold a bid or not. SPY just found a bid at VWAP as well so far. Qs at that. Is that a pre-market high on the Qs? I think it is. Yeah, it's basing over pre-market high on the Qs. This point of control around the 95s. This is going to be key here. Do we see a rejection? Here comes 9:45, opening range now set. See if we reject this for this move into here. Here we go, starting to move down into it. Nice. Okay. Been short in this now. And then let's see, covering some here. Let's see if there's continuation here. But buyers need to save this right here, right now. Otherwise, we go wash all the way down. Lovely. I want to be very careful here. They're starting to get aggressive on the sell. Very aggressive. There's some absorption here into 50s. If we let go of that, we've got more room. More absorption into 50s. They've tried twice now to get through the 50s. Here they come. Really nice. So I'm going to leave this shelf now. Down to small size here because I'm expecting a pullback at some point. There's through the 50s into this buy side imbalance, which is down to 42. Under here, we go value area low on the session to 30s. Bit of a bid here in this old imbalance. 30s is the next stop. Moving my stop kind of tight here. Out of this for the first move. Expecting a reprice here back towards 65s to 70s. And I can reload on the short if they stay heavy there. So we're just in a rotational market. We left this shelf. Once we left that shelf, I joined in. Covered most into this sort of pocket here. If we offer a reload here, I'll be looking for this. If we reclaim, I won't be looking at anything. You took that Alex, I did at 736. Oh, you took it long. 736. Yeah, I'm didn't take anything early in the market. I just wanted to get my head around what this market wanted to do. I'm watching this now, this and this for a reload. Anything here is a reclaim and go. So I only want to be short if they trap buyers on this next move up. Remember, we've got news at 10 o'clock. News at 10 o'clock. 825. So where's that? Don't like that. They're not really defending in front of that right now. So we will see. Back to VWAP. ES holding its New York Open as well there. Microsoft now gone red to green. Apple gone red to green. I need to let this shake out a little bit here. This is kind of the area for the reshort. I just don't feel fully comfortable with how this tape's moving at the moment. They are trying to resell. What's the low of this auction? Looks okay. Protecting value area low on this session now then, which is 46s. So value for me, 46s. This is now value. I'm watching Ninja, so this is value now. This is the rotation at the moment. Okay, no rotation under here yet until we successfully auction under. I'm watching this carefully. If we do let go, we're very, very thin down into 19s. So watching to see if they bear flag this like we just talked about versus this grey area is looking a bit better. Need to see a harsh snap here before I add any size on. Here we come. Sellers, are you going to come here? We've got to get through this imbalance. I want to see a snap. Edge of this imbalance looking better now, much better now. Can we complete this rotation now? Moving my stop. Nice. Okay, watching here into 30s. Want to be careful at 30s. Then we're going to go all the way back down to where we found a bid this morning. So this node here into 19s and 20s becomes important. And if we snap that, we go lows. Really good. We've seen lots of bids here on the market into these 20s. So moving my stop along with this now, protecting. Big level here at 30s. Some sellers keep coming in here at 30s. They're not able to move through. We can see the bids down here, 25, 20s and 10s. Do not want to see this reclaim value now. Really want 50s to stay heavy. 50s have got to stay heavy now if we're going to complete the rotation back down to here. As you can see, squeeze up, very, very thin up, built volume, lost the volume, bear flag, looking for a rotation into here. All right, they might well protect this when we might build out a D-shaped profile for the day on low volume. I don't know. If they let go of this, then maybe we can complete this move down here. Just trading what I'm seeing, folks, in front of me on a low volume day. Not going to overstay my welcome on anything. We're within previous week's value right now. There you go. So the bids, they're trying to protect these 30s and 20s. Yeah, still holding that New York Open, right? Cannot get underneath that New York Open. You want to watch that New York Open there at 51s. They keep bidding off it. I'm out of this now. I can wait for a reload again if I want to. Lots of buyers trying to come in to squeeze this up. Remember, we've got news in 10 minutes. News in 10 minutes. So same kind of level we're looking at, this sort of grey box and volume above at 84s. So all the time, this level stays heavy. Shorts can maybe get down into here. If they reclaim this, then the long squeeze trigger is on. I'm flat now, so I was short from this break. Re-added some here, and I'm flat now. Just waiting to see what next. Just being very, very careful. It's my first day back. Not fully dialed in yet. How do I see the bid is there? Because I'm watching the level 2. I'm watching the tape. Yeah, I'm watching beyond just the candles. Candles show me the structure, but level 2, order flow, that's what's showing me what's really going on. Maybe they complete this now into 20s. I'm out of it though, so can't chase now. Right, this is that bid, so they're reloading the bid here at 30s. It's the same player. If they flush through this, you should go 20 straight away, really. They're reloading this bid at 30 though. He's been it a couple times this morning. And one more time. Do they flush through him to 20? 30s is level, and they should come down. He's trying to offer or bid some at 25s. You should come 20 and then teens here if you're still in this. You do not want it to reclaim 30s now, though, okay? Because he just came in heavy to protect that and losing. So you want him to stay out the money. Here's the 20s. You would need 30s to stay heavy here in my mind. Clear shelf there. Really good. Those of you still in this, looks good. There's the 20s. Here comes the teens into the 10s. This is New York Open. Cover some here, please, folks, into this level. And if we start losing previous week point of control, remember, we expect buyers to come back in here. They've shown this morning that they're trying to defend this level, right? We squeezed out of it. Oh, it's not going to let me draw it for you, are we? We squeezed out on thin structure. We trapped buyers at the highs. We came back down. Buyers might reload here. If they fail to reload here, then these are your targets for runners, right? Anyone who took the short from here or reloaded this, right? TP, these are the targets for the runners here. We expect buyers probably want to defend this because this is where they showed their hand earlier, right? This can be a break and retest and a go if they really want. Remember, news at 10. Really nice trade. There's no special thing on my Bookmap, guys. It's just standard. You don't need like some crazy template or anything like that. It's just standard. Like all you're reading when you're looking at Bookmap is order flow. It's as simple as that. I don't have any special indicators, anything like that. Main thing I'm looking at on Bookmap is delta, right? Aggressive buyers and sellers, which are what you might call the bubbles, and then the passive bids, which are the horizontal. Yes, in my order flow course, right? So if you go on my website, flowzonetrader.com, I think there's still a sale. If you use Capital's launch, you'll get $100 off. That finishes in January. But yeah, I go through Bookmap, I go through footprint, I go through trap participants, I go through delta divergence. Everything is in there, folks. Okay, we're coming back down to this New York Open. You can see the bids keep reloading here at 10s and 700s. ES has found a little bit of a bid here into that same level. The New York Open keeps trying to defend it. You can get a heat map on Ninja, but it would be an extra thing. But I'm watching Bookmap. Yeah, so I'm watching Bookmap. You can see it just above me, right on my screen, right here. This is what I'm watching. All right, folks. This is what I'm watching. And then beyond that, I'm watching footprints, okay, which for you will be here. All right, I'm watching footprints. See, starting to find a bid. We might come and fill some of these sell side imbalances all the way up here if they want. Can't put everything on stream, unfortunately. Not that I don't want to. I don't have the room for absolutely everything. It's Bookmap. Above me is Bookmap. It's called Bookmap. Okay, that pop just failed. They just came into 55s. ES rejecting VWAPs. There are some buyers stuck here at 58s. Not sure this has finished the downside auction yet. There's a big shelf there that we built out at 14s, but that was pretty clear sign that they're not done with it yet. VIX trading at the low of this range, which is not what you want to see. So divergence across the board right now. Let this settle down. News here in 5 minutes or 4.5 minutes, folks. Yeah, those buyers definitely just got a little bit caught up there. 100% they got caught up there in that last shove. But we developed a pretty thick shelf here into 13s. Value area low for this current session is where we are right now. You can use a New York Open. That blue line is your sentiment right now. We will see. Tesla $1 below that 65 level now. Give you a readout on these. Tesla 2.33% down, Nvidia 2.06% down, Microsoft 0.05% down, Meta 0.83% down, Goog over 0.5% down, Amazon 0.12% down, Apple holding on 0.15% green. All right, so they only won. Beta names, mixed bag. Most of them are down a little bit. RGTI 1.30% down, MVTS 0.41% down, IONQ 0.25% down, IREN 2.80% up. Yeah, most names across the board, sort of a little bit red right now. What's that big winner I saw earlier flash up on my scan? I can't see it now. Maybe it's gone. Maybe it was wrong. Might have to wait for this news here. Might have to wait for this news. But you can see we're in a rotation. All right, we're in a rotation. We left Friday. All right, Friday was here. All right, so we left that. We opened up down here, unfortunately. It would have been nice if we didn't do that. But there's previous week's rotations here. Friday's rotation was above. We left Friday. We opened up. We haven't actually retested previous week value area low, but we held point of control and we came back up to previous week value area high, just missing it, unfortunately. Rotation is being built out inside the previous week's value. I remember we are thin. We are thin. Until we get to January, we're going to remain thin, I would say, unless there's a liquidity issue and everyone runs to cover. But we'll see. Hi, Alex. In your course, where do I find your TV setup, flow zone, footprints, etc.? If the footprint setup, everything I go over footprint is in the volume and order flow course. The flow zones and stuff is in the beginner to advanced course. If you do them both together, if you go to the checkout, it will give you a discount if you want to do both of them. I'm not sure. Maybe you're already in them. News, yeah, there is news coming today, and I think it's just house sales, but it's the only news we've got today, so you never know, it might move the market. I'm just making you guys aware. Not red folder, but new home sales, I think it is, which I can't imagine are that good, even though they have cut rates. It's going to take a while to see that start to affect anything. Starting to build out a range here. Yes, backing into this New York Open again. Starting to see follow through. I don't think we've finished selling yet, but we will see. These 700s look like they want to be tagged. Here we go. They're back into the shelf again. This guy right here. If they lose that, it's the New York Open is the big over under. ES is under it right now. Sellers coming in at those lows, not seeing follow through yet. I think 700s are very, very possible here. Very aggressive here on the tape. There they go. Here's the 700. So now back into this New York Open. What do they do here is the question. So if you're still in this short, you look good. This New York Open is your TP somewhere around here. Sellers are coming flying in here and starting to get themselves a bit aggressive at the lows. So just TP some out. I'm not in any of this now. Like I said, already covered on that last move down to here. This last one down here. If we start collapsing this, you're watching this previous week point of control, this blue box. Do they find a bid here? If they don't find a bid here, we have clear targets. All right. If they don't find a bid here, we have clear targets. If they find a bid here, rotation back up to here is possible. This is our shelf now. So we built one shelf, two shelves. All right. How we act here or here is possible for the rest of the day, or at least for the rest of this session. Where's my delta and everything gone? There it is. There we go. All right, back to these teens, back to these lows. Still in front of this New York Open. Big seller just came in here into 25s. There's still bids on this tape. Someone keeps reloading the bid here at 15 and 10s. I think he probably gets swiped. It's a matter of time till he gets swiped. He's been here a lot. Here he's going to get swiped. There's your New York Open. This is sentiment now. What do they do with this? If you come under New York Open, maybe previous weak point of control, but you should have been covering some into this move. Here comes the news as well then, I guess. So New York Open, this blue line, you can see they found a bid right on it. This New York Open so far, right on that blue line. Do I trade CFD as futures? I trade futures. Why would you ever choose to trade a CFD over future if you can trade a future? Trade a centralized exchange. Don't trade an exchange where your broker can fuck you over, where they can slip you legally. Retesting value area low now. It looks very different on mine to here. So value area low for me on Ninja is 27s. So do they find a bid in front of that or not? If they do, we can go back into rotation inside value for the session, right? And we can go right back up to this shelf. So I'm watching sort of 27, somewhere around here. I'm not going to trade it. But if they hold this, all right, the rotation is possible. If they let go of this, I'm expecting, especially under here, we have low-hanging fruit if they want to really go for it. But at the moment, we're just going into a rotational market. My least favorite market to trade, as you guys will well know. How do I see it? Again, using order flow, guys. Using order flow. You won't see the sellers and buyers unless you're using some form of order flow, whether that be footprint or bookmap or watching the DOM. Where this big seller came in is right here where we are now. 165 lot came in at 720 and below. So they need it back below 720, these sellers. If they don't get it back below 720s, they are going to remain stuck down here. They need it back below 720s for them to be back in the money. So this is how it becomes key now. If buyers bid at 720s, then the sellers remain stuck. If buyers don't bid at 720s, then the sellers can come back in, try and complete that rotation underneath that New York Open. So this is why 720s is starting to become key here. Yes, underneath that New York Open or sort of right at it. So these 720s becoming key here. Do we start to stay heavy underneath this and let these sellers in the money? Here we go. So big selling came in at 13s. That's the next level under 20s, 13s and then 10s. And then under there we're thin and we can look at for expansion underneath that New York Open. So this kind of area here is the key battle now. This is where sellers keep trying to get acceptance lower at these lows and they're not able to yet. We are seeing some form of passive buying. CVD looks absolutely terrible in this session, I'll tell you that much. Looks awful. It's because there's not much volume. Big seller coming in again here at 15s. Here's the break. Right, they need to get under this New York Open now. That's what they're looking for. Still seeing absorption down here again. So big seller coming 1, 2, 3 times in this area. They need that break lower underneath this New York Open. That's where they're going to start feeling comfortable. They're coming in aggressive again here. Really heavy here selling. Big seller down here. Starting to reload in the 10s. He's getting annoyed. He wants it underneath this New York Open. He's getting very annoyed here. Still a bid. Once this bid goes, you will see a flush, probably to 690s from what I'm seeing on the tape. Again, no position for me here, folks. Here's the New York Open again. They're trying again here. Yes, doing the job. It's actually underneath it. So huge selling stepped in here now. I'd say from sort of 15s down to where we are now. They need a break lower. We have a sell side imbalance as well, up to 20. Which we might go and tap into here. We are not underneath that New York Open. Tesla continuing to sell underneath those 65s, 465. So here's the imbalance refilled. Still not breaking underneath that New York Open. All right, so sellers cannot complete this rotation that they're looking for. Not yet, anyway. It might come, but not yet. So that open print's still being held. This blue line on your screen, it's still being held for now. And I'd say you're starting to box in, right? You've got like this here. All right, this is the build of liquidity, a bit like we had here. So a break above this can come up to here. A break below this can come down to here. And you want to be careful of fail breakouts either side. Here's the New York Open. Again, they're attempting. Can they get a wash through this New York Open? There's a bid at 790 and underneath that. That underneath the 90 is previous weak point of control, remember. So here's New York Open again. Now they're starting to get really aggressive on the tape here. They're looking for 700s. Here's your 700s. Through this, we go 90 and then 670. There's your 90 tap straight away. So some covering happening there into previous weak point of control. Can they get a continuation now? Lower. They are looking to get underneath previous week point of control, this red line, to come back down into the lows. Still, there is some form of passive buying down here. Sellers are in control, though, of this market at the moment. We're outside of value on the day. It's just whether they can get underneath this now, right? So any of you who were short from up here or reloaded here, these were your covers. Next cover will be low of day, previous week value area low, previous week low, right? Any bid over this, you don't want to be holding above this. Any of you who got short in here or short up here, you can see clear shelf. You are in control. This is your cover point, and then down here for washes. Looking better now for you. Just make sure you're managing your risk on this way down. It's looking better. You should be down to some small size here. VIX really needs to get going here. So one thing that's putting me off what I'm seeing at the moment is VIX just in the midpoint of its range. Here's previous week point of control. So underneath here, 670, big level. There are some bids here at previous week point of control. 670, the next level. And if you are short, I think you want 15s and 20s to be protected. All right, so any pop up, you want 15 and 20s to be protected. I personally would not want to see it go over that if I was short in this. Nice, Jack. Nice work. Still, it's good. All the time you're under that sort of 15s or 13s to 20s. All the time you're under that, you look okay. I'd just be somewhat careful if they rip through that level. That's where they came in very, very aggressively, is that level. So you want to see continuation under that level. Back to previous week point of control here again. Looking for acceptance underneath this at the moment. They're trying to drive price underneath this previous week point of control at the moment. It's what they're trying to do. Can they find acceptance lower is the question. Can they get back into 670? Can they get back into this low of day, 664? Can they get under that into previous week value area low? Right, so what they're looking to do right now is come under here. What sellers are trying to do is get under here to take these stops out to get a wash into this, and that would be their cover point. If they can't do that, you want to be careful with this move. Which is why, personally, if I was in this short any longer, I would have been trimming some into here and just trying to let runners work now. You're comfortably in the money. Anyone who got short from this volume shelf leave, right, you're 100 points in the money from here, and on this pushback in that failed, you're 70 points in the money. So you're good. You should be very comfortable in your position right now. I'd be watching this trigger point on the Qs. So 20-day on the Qs is into this 619s, 20s. What VIX has got to get going. I don't like what I'm seeing here on the VIX. So one thing makes me a little bit iffy. You look good to keep holding, but I wouldn't be adding size. If VIX was breaking out upside, I'd be willing to add size into this short, but it's not. So 670 is next level. Like I said, that's where the bid is on the book. Looks good here, folks. You look really, really good here. Be looking for cover points into some of these, and then down here, this is the low-hanging fruit. Previous week value area low, previous week low. Looks fantastic. Big buyer just came in here and got absolutely hammered. This is what you want to see. So you're almost there, 670s. Do they take this 670 player out? He's reloaded twice now. Here he comes. So he's just been absorbed. He's trying to absorb into 670s. So I'll be down to small size here, and you're going to need this to stay heavy on a retest of previous week point control. Definitely, if you really want to hold, you definitely got to stay heavy up here into 710s. But most of the damage now being done on that drive. Very, very nice. Well done, folks. Anyone who took that, congratulations. Not a bad first trade back. We'll take it. You had two opportunities, the leaving of the shelf or the pop back in. Oh, don't worry, Jody. It's like, you know, I would say any money made on a first day back is always very good. And here's a previous week point of control check here. Open will be tested. Yeah, 707s may very well be. It's where the sellers came in heavy at 709, 713, 714s, value area low 717s may very well be tested. We will see. we will see. At the moment, aggressive sellers still trying to sell these lows down here. There is a bid down here at 660. They've still got unfinished business. It's just whether they need to drift higher to reload it or not. Here's the 74s again. If they fail these, you'd imagine 660s will come pretty quick. Here we go. So it's the 70s. They're going to look for the 60s here. They're going to look to take out these stops here and then try and get back down into value area low. That's what they're looking to do. Remember, if you're a buyer here and you get stopped out, you become a seller, and that wash into there then becomes possible, which is what they're looking for. I don't think so, Peter. I think we're market's starting to change a little bit, and you're just in a rotation. I mean, I wouldn't really call it a two-leg down yet. Say that pattern we made last week on an hourly from Wednesday to Friday. The fact that we rejected the old 2-week balance range speaks a lot to me. Speaks a lot to me right now. I certainly wouldn't be a buyer of this market long term. Not up here. I'd need to see like a significant shove back to 300 and really see a huge amount of volume come in here. We have divergence. Remember, most of the markets took out their highs. Qs did not. If you go back to historical patterns, that divergence can often mark a top. And the fact that we rejected a 2-week balance range point of control for me does not bode well. But I'm trying not to be too biased. We will see. Q1, I think, is likely to shake a few people. Let's say that much. But we will see. We will see. Thanks, brother. I got 402 from opening line to short. 402s. I don't know what you mean, 402s. There they go. They're going to try and sweep these stops out here. So your TPs, your next TPs might be hit there. Big selling has come in at 72, so that's your over-under in this light little shelf here. They've got to stay heavy around here. For that wash that back down to value area low, I would say, if they can get there. Previous week value area low, which is into the 40s. They're trying. They're absolutely trying to get it down there at the moment. ES still not swept that low yet either. 42s as the pivot on ES. SPY pre-market low for trading the spiders. 86.70 is kind of your pivot. Here it comes, folks. Here it comes. They're coming for it. So low of day coming in. Once they snap these, I expect to wash down into this area. You must be covering as you get into this, folks. All right, once we snap these, you've got to be covering as we, if these stop run these and you get sort of a volume spike, all right, if they can get under here and you get a volume spike down into here, you've got to be covering into this move. All right, you do not want to see it keep absorbing here. You want to see a swipe down for you to cover into. Use their pain for your covers if it will offer it. Still learning from Indonesia. Oh, so you made $4.02. Maybe that's what you mean. I'm not sure what you mean, but either way, thanks for joining. Overall on the daily, we are in a rotation on the daily. Alex, yet to determine the next direction, right? Let's have a look at the daily, how we started the day. Yeah, so we're in that balance. Where are you guys? Let me just get you over to this daily. All right, we're in that balance, aren't we? If we think about what the market's done from swing to swing, all right, there's your 61. This is the old balance range, and this, have we reclaimed it? No. All right, there's the pullback. Did we make a lower low? No. All right, we're in a rotation from here to here at the moment. If bulls need to take control, they need to take control of this and bid back over this, and that will allow that new all-time high. If they fail here, we probably rotate back down to this. If they fail this, we can come back down to this. If they fail this, then we're going to have a huge amount of volume built out, and that wash becomes more and more probable, right? If they cannot get back above this, and remember, we've seen divergence. Remember, ES, RTY, etc., right? Taking this out and pulling back. So we just need to give it a little bit of time at the moment. But yes, like you can see this low volume node is where we caught a bid. Look at how condensed even this is. 50-day, 20-day, 5-day contraction of Bollinger Bands. That will change. I still think this guy down here is looming for a retest. When was the last retest of him? May. Right, so Mr. 200, I think is looming for a retest. But we're just give it time. Remember, we're not expecting much in this session here. Okay, there's your retest. There's your retest. So I couldn't sweep this out. Only swept the internal. Couldn't sweep this out. That's pretty annoying, isn't it? There we go. All right, back to the open. Back to point of control. ES trying to get back to its open. It's back to its open now. It's got both VWAPs above it, as do we. And you can see volume shifting, migrating now. Big old D shape. All right, if we think about this so far on this session, not many nodes. Big old D shape. There's your rotation. So far in this session, we're coming right to the midpoint of it. Fun, 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 fun. That's why we had to be taking profits down here. We never got that snap, unfortunately. It might come later. We might retest it and stay heavy. We don't know. But this is the level that we talked about earlier where the sellers came flying in. It's these teens. If they get stuck here, there is a squeeze out probably above 20s. The next level above being to sort of 38-ish, somewhere around that. Sellers running out of bullets. I just think we're in a rotation. We're just in a rotation, all right? Guys, it's 7:18. We've been here 50 minutes on a low volume day. I think lots of time left, right? This can still be resold if you think about this, right? If this is your thin level, where we got thin, where we trapped buyers, where we sold down and sold down, right? They can still resell this. I'll change my mind if we start to do this, right? If we start to build top side of here, it's far too early to say sellers are done. Far, far, far too early. We're just in a balance. Plenty of time left in this session. And ES couldn't get back up to its VWAP there. Well, VIX doesn't look good, really, Peter. It's drifting lower. I don't really like what I'm seeing on the VIX right now. It needs to get back above 1510s, really. Above 1510s for a VIX squeeze would be nice, rather than keep on rejecting the pivot up here. Remember, we want VIX to do inverse of what the market's doing. That's healthy correlation. All of the mag now red again. Tesla clawing back some, but all of the mag red. No, not in a trade right now, Joe. Took the short from the leave of this shelf. All right, for this leave, and then added back here and covered and fully out. Didn't hold for this. I'm not fully sharp yet, and I've sized down. When I'm not fully sharp, you know, it's first day back. I will tell you, I probably overindulged. I ate lots of food. Didn't drink too much, but drank a decent amount for me, and smoked a few stogies, and this is first day back. Yesterday, I barely left the sofa. So just going to slowly get back into rhythm, right? We're through the open already, folks. We're through the open. There's this little shelf here into 20s. Remember I said, if we get through 20s, they probably let it to 36. Lots of buyers coming in these last two candles up here above, sort of above the 15s. This is the big level, all right? If we look at, if I can take you over here, we think about where big selling came in. Look at this strong shift here, where these buyers last got caught. All right, we went buy side, shove up into sort of here. Come on. Right here, this is where the buyers last got caught on the sell. We're revisiting that level through here. This is where strong selling took place. Look at the delta, big selling in this candle here. All right, so there's 20 to to 40s becomes key. So I was saying if they get through 20s, they're probably going to go 38s, 40s. All right, just based on what actually occurred during this sort of time here, I'd say from 9:55 to 10:02. Right, so we were just watching price revisit that area of, let's just call it, of a battle of a congestion. Like sellers came in heavy at 720. We know that to 707s on this breakdown, right? This is where they came in heavy. We're repricing them now. They're starting to be out the money. Buyers came in big at 37 to 40. ES still cannot get through its New York VWAP. Apple gone red to green. Gold down 5%, yeah, 4.81%. I mean, it needs it. Silver down 8%. I mean, you've got to understand, folks, like it did 25% up last week. You have to understand, everyone, like, this is cool. This is your small cap, right? This is retail buying. Don't be fucking stupid, all right? Pardon my French, but this is where you buy the accumulation. You don't fucking buy up here, right? Everyone's just found out, oh, silver's on a flyer, right? From November, you're up almost 100%. You're up, I don't know, probably like 70% here. Don't be stupid and buy here or buy this first dip. Don't do that. You're going to see. Think about anyone who's been long. Most institutions have been long, right, all year for this breakout and adding here. They're not long up here, right? You're going to see some profit taking. Do not be stupid and buy the high or buy the first dip, right? You don't need to rush into these positions, right? They take time to develop. This could very, very well come all the way back down to here and see if it can find some consolidation for a go back up. It might find a bid before. It could also come up here and find a fail follow through. If enough retail get trapped here, this will be the collapse of it, all right? Don't be stupid and read the papers and buy what they're saying. Oh, silver's blah, blah. Shut up, all right? Don't listen to any of that bollocks. Follow what's happened here. This is a low volume squeeze up during Christmas, all right? That's all it is. Let it come back and settle. You don't need to be the first to buy it on a dip. You guys saying you're buying against this big knife move. You don't need to. What you need to do is wait and see if institutional buying comes back in at a key level, right? You don't want to buy up there. Like, it's an absolute psychopath move. Even if we're going to think about this whole thing, right? 50% retracement, you got to get back to 64 or, all right, 61 in this golden zone. You got to get back into the 60s per ounce. It's got a long way to go before I'd consider buying it. Long, long way. Don't get caught up with hysteria and what, I don't know, CNN and CBS and all these people saying. They will get you caught, all right? They don't know what they're talking about. Do not get caught into that trap. Do not get caught into the trap. Ask yourself, if you were up almost 100% in a month, would you be buying or would you be taking some profits? All right? And then times that by billions and trillions of dollars. Okay, we are due a pullback. Do I think it would be rebid on? Yes, I do think it would be rebid on early between Jan and March. But you're currently trying to buy a pullback on 29th. After last week, it went up over 25%. And over the month, it's gone up almost 100%. All right, so you just don't do that. Make that make sense to me. If Apple had moved from 200 to 400 in a couple of days, in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, would you be buying it? No, you wouldn't. So don't do it with anything else just because they're talking about it. Understand the auction theory. It's clearly it can't find value up there. Very, very clearly. It's moved from 30 an ounce to 80 an ounce. Like, just make it make sense. Can't do it forever. All right. Doesn't mean it can't go back there and revisit it. But why buy the first pullback, folks? You're too smart to do that. All right. You're far too smart to do that. Why don't I use IB? I do use IB. Initial balance hasn't come yet. It's not set for another 5 minutes, 4 minutes. There's no initial balance to trade yet, my friend. And it's the first hour of trading. We've got to wait another 4 minutes until it's set. I absolutely use initial balance. Okay, back in to this top of value for this session. 750 on here. What do I have it on? NinjaTrader 760, so about 10 point kind of discrepancy there. But that value area high on this session up into here into this view up. All right, you can see this is the D-shaped profile. It might well be that they rotate from here. All right, if they get acceptance through here, or they're going to get through this thin structure, aren't they? So sellers will want to come and defend this for the rotation. Buyers will want to try and force a squeeze here, force their hand out to get back to these highs. Or you can just wait. You've got 4 minutes until a new 30-minute candle and 15-minute and 5-minute candle, and IB is set. I'd imagine sellers will want to defend here or hereabouts. And if they don't, then we're going to go back for that shelf that we first shorted this morning. What is IB? IB is initial balance. All it is the highest point and the lowest point of the first hour of trading in a current session. So obviously we're trading New York, so it's 9:30 to 10:30, right? 9:30 to 10:30. Everything's still being absorbed. There's sellers here at 50, 55, 60. There was a seller at 80, but he's left the building right now. And where did that big buyer come in? 39s. All right, so we've got delta, positive delta above 39s. They're trying to hold above 39s right now, these buyers. So revisit towards an old imbalance and VWAP here into 50. There they go. Testing this seller up here. This is that imbalance into around the 50s and the value area high. So do sellers do a little look above? Do they let them come above, do a look above and fail? Or do they just defend this range and go for rotation? We're about to find out. So this is the 40 where we have positive delta above, which they're testing now. It's where the big buyer came in. That big buyer still holding price there right now. So 40 was the level. I can see it on the tape, right? So you also have a little shelf here. I'm just watching the delta on that tape. At 40, we had like an outside buyer. It's starting to be paired off a little bit because we did have an aggressive seller into it. This is a big level here. Here they go. So here's the flush back down into VWAP. Do they absorb this? Now remember, we are in a rotation. You can see the D shape, all right? We're in a rotation day. There's your D shape, right? No acceptance below, no acceptance above this yet. Okay, I'd be very careful about a look above and fail on a rotation. If they look above and hold, we know here is where we trapped those buyers this morning. So buyers are trying to get the market up to here so they can get let out of the market. Sellers, if I was a seller, I'd be trying to encourage them to do this. All right, a little look above into a low volume and fail. That's the kind of move if I was a seller and I enjoy trading rotation, which I don't, but that's the kind of thing that I'd be looking at. We know 40 is a big level, right? It started to be paired off now, but it was a very, very big level. IB same as Orb today. Yeah, you're right. You're right. The 15-minute drive, if you're a 15-minute Orb trader, yeah, absolutely right. Unless we do a huge spike. But yeah, you can see purple lines, these little dots which start to get bigger and bigger. Those are my initial balances, all right? So you're quite right. IB is the same as Orb today. They are defending the edge of this value area high on this session at the moment. Alex, would you be open to a trade in gold futures in 2026? More for a swing position, yes. I'm open to a trade on anything which is moving well outside of where it should be in 2026. So I'm open to gold and silver for swing positions. I don't want to actively trade them, not day to day. I think the way they move, you're almost better to be positioned long term in those. If the 21 crosses VWAP with Momo, do you scalp counter long since it's above value area high, or is that probability? If the since you mean above the current value area high, well, you got to remember where we are in rotation. This is the rotation. This is the current rotation. Any trade above here, for me, is kind of dangerous. The maximum you get is that relief to here, right? The better rotation would be if it bases above or if you catch the low. I wouldn't be looking... I would not be playing this move here, no. I would rather let that fake out and die and play that move there. As most of you know, I don't love playing rotation anyway. New York VWAP, is that just anchored to the New York session? Yes, correct. Just a 9:30 open. All right, so it's a cash print. Yeah, it doesn't mean... Do you know when I'd play that, Otis, is if there was plenty of room above, right? If we were migrating higher and there was room above, for sure. But we're not. We're not doing that. So what you're actually doing is you're saying, hey, I'm going to buy the most expensive value price on the day inside previous week, hoping we can revisit. For me, that's a dangerous buy. It doesn't mean it doesn't do it, but I'd need to see a lot more from buyers to convince me to take that play. I think there's a good chance the door gets shut on them. You're short 25747. I'd say you're a bit early based on structure. The area is not too bad, but I wanna wait and see if they do like a little look above and fail. All right, that's what I'm looking for. Can they do a look above and fail? Because at the moment, buyers are just stepping in here quite happily. What you need to see is aggressive buyers chase the market and get stuck if you're going to look for the rotation short. VIX new lower day. This is what's concerning me, is we have divergence here on the VIX today, and that is a concern for me. VIX is a new lower day. It's into its gap. If it wants to gap fill, it's going to come down to 1440s and below, and well below, and that might really let this market out for some relief. I don't like seeing a market which is in major divergence to the VIX. There you go, Otis. Yeah. I'd say 45s become key now for buyers. They've stepped in aggressively at 45s numerous times. So that's their level. They want to hold above right now. 45s is the level that they're looking to hold. I wouldn't mind seeing a little swipe up and then buyers come in and see if there's actually a passive seller still here or not. We're just at the edge of this current range. Maybe they expand up into here. We don't know. It's not an area I want to trade in right now. I just want to wait and see. Let some price action develop up here. Make a decision after. QQQ just above VWAP and is not indicated either way outside the 50-minute. Exactly. Rotational day. We're in a rotational day. We're not outside the orb. We're not outside previous week's value. We're not outside anything right now. We're in a rotation. We have a D-shaped rotation, right, into thin volume. So very, very possible they come up here. But the question is there a passive seller hanging out here who traps buyers and does this move? I don't know, which is why I'm just waiting right now. Apple has found a bid. Tesla's back inside of that 65, now trading at 67. That's a good shove up from Tesla, reclaiming. So potentially a look below and fail there under 465s on Tesla. I think that was the level. Where aggressive sellers came in at this morning is sort of, we have a 77, 81, 86, 92, and sort of 95 stand out. And they stand out above. Remember, volume today, very, very thin, not a lot of volume. I might enter along. No, I would be more interested if I see a passive seller here absorb aggressive buyers and close down back inside range for rotation. I would be careful about a long, all right, all the time we've squeezed up without building a base. All right, for me, squeeze, 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 squeeze. This is the look above kind of level we just talked about. If there's a passive seller here and we close in here, they can go in rotation. If they do this and then they start absorbing, even then I don't really like it in a rotation, but we'll see. We're starting to see that passive seller up here. This is what I talked about, the look above and fail. Above value area high, this is what I'd be more interested in playing. And we're starting to see that. So if they don't bid here at VWAP, all right, if this is a look above and fail, this can get very, very aggressive to the downside. Just watching carefully here to see what happens. So I think Otis just asked this, and we talked about this move here. Be very careful. This is the grey box. Remember, if they fail this and they get back under point of control on this session, we will probably rotate lower, because this is the kind of trap at the edge. If they can print above this, then their aim is to get back into this up here, this sort of 94s where they got stuck. But I wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't personally be long up here. I think the risk parameter is not very good. You are bidding at one of the worst areas at the day. It doesn't mean it can't move higher, but remember, when we assess whether we're going to trade, we want like pocket aces. Here's VWAP. So if they don't bid this, you are going to get more of a flush in this market. Does that make sense, Otis? Because I know you just asked this exact question. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So this was value. This is D shape. We want to bid from here to here, and sellers are likely to sell this. Do you remember what I said when I said, what would I like to see if I was a short seller and I liked rotation? I'd like a failed breakout. If you go back and rewind what I said, into this low volume for aggressive buyers to come back in and get met with passive sellers, and then get back under here and we can rotate. You're starting to see it all happen very, very quickly. All right. Hopefully that makes sense, but just let me know in chat, because I tried to explain that to you before it happened. That's my dog. Hang on. Let me just open this up. You all right, Luna? What's up with you? Come here. Want to say hello? Mama's going to take you, don't worry. I understand why you dislike rotation now. Yeah, it's just not my favorite trade. It's not my favorite trade. Especially, you got to remember, we're inside the previous week, but we're under the previous day, and we're now in a D shape on the day. I mean, it's just nothing. I wouldn't say it's a high probability day. What's up? Is there a VWAP indicator on NinjaTrader? There is. There's a free one if you're using order flow, and there is one if you go to NinjaTrader communities or whatever it's called. Someone's built one. I think it's called like VWAP X or something like that. You played the failed breakout and made 20 points. There you go, Gary. Nice. Nice. Yeah, for me, I'm just flat. Just not. This is not something that's grabbing my attention. But you can see this grey level came in important. All right, why? It's the same level as earlier. All right, so what you've got to think about at the start of the day, think about the very, very start of the day. We talked about. Can you hear my dog? She's not happy. We talked about a drive up here being sold into. They didn't. They got what I would call almost like a blow off top. Buyers got trapped above this level. All right, so once we got back below this, shorts took control. Shorts didn't complete the rotation under here. They wanted this, they didn't get it. So we've had relief all the way back, and they're stepping in at this same level now. If we start just building liquidity here, or even if we build liquidity here, all right, we're just building this out for the next leg. Our probability of a really good move diminishes, especially given the type of day it is. Remember, it's the 29th of December. Not that many people are at their desks. Not that many people. I would, yes, Trader Rick, I would agree. But just remember, I wouldn't consider the next two or this trading session to necessarily be high probability plays within value. Same as last week. Just because I think the volume is going to be lower and I think big participants might not sort of turn up. I'm more interested in where we're at, 1-2 weeks into January. But yes. What happens, I would ask you, we've left the bigger context. I wouldn't necessarily say all of the context is bullish, because if we come down here, right, this is what you need to understand about that old balance range. This old balance range, we are not finding acceptance back in. It's a 2 weeks balance range we are rejecting. Point of control from that old range is 920s, all right, in here. We can't get back inside of it. At the moment, we keep rejecting this old balance range, right? So maybe there's a deeper pullback to be had. If we lose previous week's value, maybe we pull back into the weeks before. I would say down here, this old naked point of control is an area I'm interested in. If buyers bid off that, then, that's the kind of swing point where I think if I was going to be very bullish in this market, if I was a perma bull, right, and we'd done this and we'd rejected this, I'd be looking for a pullback into here to bid off, to go back to highs. That's where my brain is right now. And if we lose that, then I'd say, well, buyers have just completely failed to hold the rotation and new lows are probable. So this for me is the big level, right? It's when we come back into here. This is clear. We can't find acceptance back in it. Not yet. Maybe we find acceptance in the next few days, but right now we can't. This is where I think I will pique my interest of, does institutional buying take place there or not? At least that's how my brain's working, right? That's what I'm seeing. Doesn't mean I'm right. It's just how I'm viewing the market. That's not necessarily true. It's back to value from 2 week balance. So I would say your idea is invalid. Well, I don't think we are back there. We've clearly rejected it. We just rejected point of control, and we're back. This is what I'm saying. We're back there on a low volume drift higher week, all right, where I don't think many people were at the desk. And this is what I'm saying. Like, if this had happened first week at January, I'd give it more consideration. I'm not going to give it too much consideration when we're low volume. But like I said, I'm happy to be wrong, and that's okay. What I would say, though, is VIX is continuing to fall into its gap. And this market might get going here. Do not like the divergence on the VIX and spiders right now. VIX well into its gap. Previous day high on the VIX will take it back down to sort of 1430s. Gap fill on the VIX is all the way down into 1360s. It is rejecting an old pivot into these 15s. It might well pull back into these 1430s, 1420s and see if it can find a bid. The law, well, technically it's between VIX and ES, not the NQ. But yes, in a healthy market, the correlation is that they do the opposite. But we've got VIX breaking down underneath lows and spiders midpoint of the range. Oh. Market just gone still here, and we're developing a big fat node here as well. Nice CyberPie. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 581 of you here. I want to do some giveaways soon. Make sure you smash that like button. I'll be here today and tomorrow. Maybe I'll be here Wednesday. I'll see. Yeah, very light trading week. Not expecting much at all. Bearish bull. Can't handle the pressure. Well, I would say you probably need to size down if that's the case. if your P&L swings too big, it's probably stressing you out. Yeah, just size down. You got to earn the right to size up. You got to earn the right to have bigger P&L swings. You got to get comfortable with that slowly. You know, the jump from 1 micro to 2 micros is manageable, even though it's a 100% jump. The jump from 1 mini to 2 minis is probably not so manageable. So just size down, move to micros nice and slow, or don't even trade cash, you know. Don't trade cash. All right, ES back into its VWAP, stuck between 24-hour VWAP and New York VWAP on the ES. Qs balancing out at that same VWAP. Spiders, the same place. We're at this point of control. You can see the rotation starting to take place around here. This is not a level that I want to be participating in, all right? I'm not really interested. Buyers will want to do this. Sellers will want to complete this rotation down here. Buyers will want to try and let these guys out. At the moment, they can't get back above value. That look above and fail has played out, but they're trying to build out volume node here. The question is, do they let this go? Do they protect this again? Or do we come into this? Or do buyers trap all these sellers and complete this rotation and let these buyers out? Right now, I'd say sellers in this node here have done a good job. And it's just whether they can leave this volume trapped here and start to return back down here would be my question right now for these sellers. They're trying. They're definitely trying. It's crazy how gold always rejects the 20-day moving average in New York session. Is that right? I mean, it's mean reversion, right? 20 days, you're mean. I haven't checked the standard deviations for gold, how far outside it moves. But yeah, I mean, 20 days, always your mean. So starting to see this wash now. New York Open will be the next target for these shorts. So that look above and fail. Above here, like we talked about, there's your lower high. Starting to leave this volume. Right, they want to try and get back down into here if they can. That would be their first cover point. If they get acceptance under here, they still have things to look for lower. Mag all red other than Apple. Like I said, I'm not going to trade the rotation. If you give you a readout, equally weighted, we're 0.72% down today on the mags. Tesla 1.85% down, but has reclaimed that 65 level we talked about. Nvidia 1.68% down. Microsoft pretty much flat, 0.03% down. Meta 0.77% down. Google 0.42% down. Amazon 0.22% down. Apple 0.05% up. There it is, Otis said. Yeah, there it is. There it goes. There it goes. So hopefully I kept you, at least I kept you out of a bad trade, right? And next time you see that setup and you think about taking that long, you'll think twice about it. Because you'll be like, hey, I've seen this before. Even if this goes higher, this is not a great setup. There you go. Here comes New York Open. So any of you that took this fail breakout, all right, you want to be taking a partial into this level here, New York Open. You want a partial into this level here. This is your New York Open, somewhere in this range here. Hello, let me teach, please. All right, partials here. Then runners are your low of day. Remember, we didn't quite sweep this. It might be that we don't sweep this, but if we sweep this, all right, then you're probably going to see a stop run somewhere into here, and this is your next TP. So I'd be like TP1 to protect, TP2 down into this, all right, somewhere into here. Really nice. Augustin Da Vinci. What does that mean? Paint my nails. Nice, Otis. Nice. How was were you in Palm Springs over the break? How was the flooding down there? I've been hoping to get up on the mountain here, but the roads have not been good here. Can't get up to Baldy, which has still been closed. Mammoth, there was an avalanche out. So got my snowboard ready and snow on the mountains and nothing to do. All right, here's your previous week point controls value. So the only thing left now, I'd be covering some here and then holding to see if you get a further breakdown, right? Holding to see if you get a further breakdown at this point. ES coming into that low of day. Massive divergence here between ES and the VIX today. It's being a bit of a bugger. It is being a bit of a bugger. There are some cover points here, so you should be covering some into this, folks. Into this pivot here. So clues in the title there, Shun Shane. I have a hard time timing your entry. You shouldn't be timing my entry. You should be timing your entry. And that's your clue there. You shouldn't be following everyone. You should be using me to understand what's happening in the market. You should be using your model and my teachings to trade, not trying to copy me. If you copy me in, you're going to be lagged anyway because the stream, unfortunately, is six seconds behind. And I'm not in an entry, right? I said very clearly, I'm not going to trade this, but if I was going to trade it, all right, I'd be looking for a failed breakout, failed follow through. The grey box was there the whole time. I'd be looking for a failed breakout into low volume node and a rotation from one side to the other, right? Gave you the teachings. I didn't even trade it. So if you're waiting for me to say I'm in short, you're still waiting because I'm not trading a rotation. What software creates the different colored waves or the clouds? This is the Flow Zone Pro, right? This is my indicator. Version of it comes with the course. Everything's on my website, right? flowzonetrader.com. Below 660, don't see much support till 412. What do I think? No, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. Level we're at now is key from last week. I'd say there is some volume at sort of 580 to 550s. If we get down there, but at the moment keeps finding a bid in this area, same as it did last week. If you look at Monday last week, Tuesday last week, keeps finding a bid in this area. If we break those lows, that there is a node. That's why I have this down here. There's a node down here, and then under that, the old value from the week before will be down at 522s. Once we start letting go of that, then I think there's a wash into the 330s. But you know, they keep buying dips down here. We are just in a rotational market. Please remember that. Why don't I use the bands and view up? Because I don't need them. They're not something. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question because they're not part of my strategy. Because my strategy, how I trade, doesn't use them. That's why I don't use them. It's not because they don't work. Everything works once you build a system around it. It's just they're not what I like to use. Doesn't mean you shouldn't use them. There's no right and wrongs. Up 1K on 20 evals today. Nice, Tom. Good work. Nice, David. I mean, it's not bad, this move here. Yeah, potentially. Just remember, this is the big level from previous week. So it depends. Like, I'd almost wait to see if they're willing to rotate this. Just remember, last week, all right, we found bids here. It's where we keep finding bids. Oh, there we go. All right, into this structure here. You want to be careful, right? The buyers keep coming in down here. So I wouldn't be thinking about getting too much today. All right, this is you're in the middle of the profile. Any drift higher goes back into the middle of the profile. We're just in a rotation, folks. Don't look for trend in a rotation. All right, let it develop. It's going to have to really show you it wants to do it. You're in a low volume week as well. Like, why be like trying to play trend and risk on, and like, why do anything in a low volume week? Do you know what I mean? Like, we're in the middle of a D shape. We're protecting edges. I wouldn't really be doing much here. Like, maybe you wanted to take this, maybe you took this morning, but like I would say we have diminishing edge in this market right now. How many times have I told you, like, the VIX is diverging from everything? Like, it doesn't look very good out here right now in terms of like high probability setups. Thanks, JJA or JJAL. Is that JJAL trading? But yeah, just because I trade this way, folks, like I always say, there's no right and wrongs. Like, I can't remember who asked me about the VWAP bands, but if they work for you, use them, right? If they work for you, use them. But if you've developed a strategy around them, use them. It's not like I think they don't work. It's just not part of how I trade. That's all it is. That's all it is. I'm actually going to remove this because we've traded through it quite a few times now. This is like a base that they keep bidding is more like this here. So they keep holding. The volume is pitiful. I don't think it was this low at any point last week. I mean, yeah, it's going to be low, guys. You got to understand we're trading between Christmas and New Year's. I mean, anyone in Discord will know. I said, hey, we'll get on stream. If there's something there, we'll trade it. Otherwise, we'll just have some fun together, right? You don't need to trade every day. You don't need to trade every session. Like, if you're just clicking buttons for the sake of clicking buttons, you need to have a little word with yourself. Yeah, just need to have a word with yourself. Just, you should be trading setups if and when they set up, and that's the same every day. For me, there's no trade here. I don't like trading rotations. Most of you will know that. Always made that clear. I'll call them out for you, but I don't like trading them. Certainly not going to trade the midpoint of a rotation. You learned from me that key levels are the key, and you work with that. Yeah, I mean, you need to trade around key levels. You don't want to trade. If you're trading before a key level, it means you're jumping the gun, right? Let it come and test a key level. Let it, and not just like at the level, like let it show you what it wants to do at that level. People that try and catch a knife because they think, oh, there's good structure down here, like you have to remember the market doesn't have to do anything. We can just build thesis. It doesn't have to do anything. What you need to do is have the levels that you want to trade at and then wait for your setup to present in and around those levels. Don't jump the gun. You know, if you're buying because you've got a blue box on your screen but the market's tanking, chances are just as much that it's going to slice through your blue box, right? Alex, how does raising margin requirements affect shorts in comparison to longs? You mean in the metals? It depends how if they're over leveraged. If they're over leveraged short side, it will force them to cover at least, especially if the margin requirements are more overnight. It affects them both the same way. Affects them both the same way in the futures market. Doesn't matter which side of that trade you take. It's more about who's placed more positions in the last 48 hours, let's say, who's bought the highs or who shorted the highs, what price has done since. At the moment, prices pulled about 8% since those highs. So anyone who took a short with high margin requirements is comfortable. Any retail who bought the high is absolutely pinned. Most people will be up, you know, I would say volume on silver is probably from like 35s. You know, they're up 100%. They don't care about the margin requirement. The big money won't care about the margin requirements. The big people who've been long for, you know, all of this year and even well before that accumulating won't care. It's more that's what's happened in the last 48 hours. Who've taken positions in the last 48 hours who weren't prepared for that margin requirement to change? Who's over leveraged? Not new to trading. What's better, Apex or Tradeify? That comes down to what your ambitions are. Apex, you get more accounts. Tradeify, you don't have to deal with trailing drawdown. So if you don't like dealing with trading drawdown, probably go with a Tradeify account. If you just want to scale and you're willing to be patient and you want max profit, probably go with Apex. Yeah, exactly. Is it Virgil? Yeah, just stick with what I know. We went over metals at the beginning of the day. I think that there will be swing opportunities coming both sides of that trade. I'm not too fussed at the moment. Today, I think it'll be a crowded trade both sides. Just let everyone else go through hysteria. The way I see it, right? It's this market, and in general, this market is feeling more and more like a small cap, right? I don't want to take the crowded trade. If silver, big if silver was going to go into a multi-month, multi-week fade, I won't need to be shorting it today. I can let it build out, let it set a lower high, let everyone else fuck around and build the volume for days, weeks, months. And if I really think there's a mean reversion or a bigger fade back to 30s, for example, on silver, which I'm not convinced there is, but if there was, then I'll take that trade when it's not so crowded, put some position on and just let it work. The same way smart money got long in the 30s and let it work for a long time. I don't feel the need to jump into the crowded trade. All right, it's no different to GME. Look at GME when everyone got the hysteria about jumping into GME. Oh, going to get long because everyone's told me to get long, and then they changed the margin requirements, and then everyone's smashing short. Okay, great, you got loads of volatility. If you waited 3 months and put a short position on and close your eyes for 3 or 4 years, you're laughing, right? So you don't need to trade like the huge volatility day one. That's what I'm trying to say, I guess. All right, back to previous week point of control. Big if here, but if they do, if this is a retracement that they do start to fade and you get this breakdown, like I said, there is still low hanging fruit. Those of you who are short from up here, all right, if you covered some here and you're holding this, if you get this stop run down here, I think there's low hanging fruit to come and test. It's a big if, but that's what I'd be looking at. Can you get acceptance lower in this market? It's trying his value area low on the day. They're finding a bit of a bid here. There are some buy side imbalances underneath this right now. We're at the point where we transitioned delta from these candles down here. Big sell delta went to big positive delta in these candles down here. So just watching how we act here at value area low on the session here at 87s and previous week point control. We know it's a big contested area. I wouldn't be a new money short here, but if you were short from those highs, you can wait to see if they can complete this rotation. ES starting to reject New York Open as well. Question is, can it take out a pivot low? VIX just stuck right now. Here they come. So into some of these imbalances. Do they see follow through now for you guys? Hopefully you get some follow through here, which would be nice. Big seller coming in. You need him to get follow through here. You don't want him to get stuck. These are where the imbalances are. They are attempting to move lower here. $86 and 93 are where big strong buying's come in so far. Where's this big one? 78 as well. Where's 78? Might get a snap here. Hopefully you guys get a snap here. Would be nice to see them clean everything up. Thanks, David. Very kind of you. Get my coffee for me later. So yeah, I'm not sure if any of you, I think like Otis and some of you were short here. It's cover here and wait and see if this can break down. If you run these stops, all right, then these low hanging fruit will get hit. If buyers keep protecting this level, you just got to be fully out. You can't just hold forever because this is your D shape, right? This is That's why I keep telling you, we don't expect trend day. It's a big if, but, and maybe. If you're positioned short here, you can afford to try and let this work. But here is your rotation. You don't want to be short at the lows of this rotation. You do not want to be a new money short down here. Even if it breaks down, that's the same as trying to be a new money long up here. This is telling you what it's trying to do. I'm going to get a refill of coffee here, and then I want to do some Apex giveaways, all right, when I'm back. Okay, into those imbalances, still protecting lower day, but you're looking a bit better here. Is there any follow through for you lot versus previous week point of control? Some bids are coming lower. It's just whether they're willing. That bid's starting to chase the market up here. Someone's looking to cover because he didn't get filled there. He's up at 80 now. So he was all the way down at 665 and he's come up to 80 looking to get filled. Do I ever use the DOM? Yeah, you can see it on your screen above you, right? It's right above you. Or right above me, right here. Yes, I use the DOM. What's the benefit? And the benefit is to see real price action. I want to see who's bidding on the market, who's being passive on a bid or a sell, who's being aggressive and where they're stuck, right? That's why I use Bookmaps, why I use footprints. Absolutely, I use it. I don't watch it all the time. I watch it because you will get exhausted. Here's a little tip for you guys. If you watch every little move, you're going to be exhausted. What you want to do is once you learn to read order flow, you want to watch it when you come into your key levels, when you're at your key levels. All right. So if your key levels are 200 points apart, it's like just set price alerts for when you get close to a key level and then zoom in and start watching it once you get there. Otherwise, your brain will, or in my opinion, your brain will get very, very tired. Very, very tired. Who's this guy spamming nonstop? What's he actually saying? Let me have a look. There's no, everyone always asks that. There's no special settings on Bookmap, guys. I don't change anything. There's no like amazing setting. The only thing I change is this DOM on the right hand side, so I see Delta first. That's all I change, guys. I don't look at anything else. Nothing else. All right, thanks, full forward. Is Top Steps DOM good enough? I don't know. I've never used it, but not if you're not paying for data. Like if you're only seeing, 4 or 5 points outside of where you're at, it's not going to be very useful. On your volume profile, is there any reason you don't care to see up, down? What do you mean? I have it. I see you just have the volume area. No, it's here, my friend. It's here. You see this grey part? You probably just maybe can't see it. This and this is up and down. Yeah, so that's value. On the session, this is outside of value. This is just based on New York session, right? So it's anchored to New York session. But yes, I do use it. Alex, please authorize my use of EMA TrendFriend Pro. Carol, okay, let me have a look. I only had 2 of those come in. I've done everyone else's. There's only so many I can do. Did you fill the form in correctly and put your name correctly there, Carol Wright? Because I can see some here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I need to do after here, but I did everyone yesterday. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, not so much. Outside of value, what do I care about? If they've built a node, right? I don't really. I'm not too. You know, if we got acceptance above here, where are we going to go? Right, probably to this node up here. Right, I'm not too bothered about this. Right, there's nothing really taking place out there. So if you think about areas I care about, this area, this area, this area, this area. Right, if shorts protect this, that's the trap. Right, like we did here, into thin areas. So I do care about what happens outside if they've built some actual liquidity. If this was just like this, then that just says to me, well, there's no build out of liquidity there. It's not an area of interest. Yes, I did. Oh, well, I mean, okay. Let me have another look then, Carol, because I can't see it, but I'll have a look. I'll just authorize everyone now, and if you're not on there, it means you haven't filled in your TradingView name correctly. But I'll do it now. What's your actual name? Carol Wright. Carol's Trading. I can see it there. December 26th. Let's see if it's in there or not. Can you try now, Carol? See if that worked. I'll email you as well. Apologies about that if it hadn't gone through for whatever reason. Should have just emailed you now. These people, they type in things like, they put their name and then it's not their username. Let's try that one. Give me a second here, folks, to just make sure everyone's got this who applied for it this morning. It's another incorrect name. Dontron Money. Let's try you. There we go. He has one. One sec, folks. I'll be right back with you. Apologies. Make sure everyone's set up here. Audrey. Alex Todd. That won't work. It's the wrong name. And AG Wong I did yesterday. Okay. There we go. Okay, back to point control up here on current session. All right, current session POC, this node here, previous week POC, and this node here. This is the rotation right now. Question is, do sellers take control, or is there squeeze back up to 50s? We're in a rotation, right? No acceptance above, no acceptance below yet. Things can change. I just approved everyone. Dontron Money. I just did that one, Don. Sorry, just so you know. I just emailed you back. Should be there. How do you apply for it? There's a free video on my YouTube on TrendFriend Pro. You just fill in the form. Okay, big selling coming here. They're trying to get this breakdown. VIX just still not really doing anything. We're back down to previous week point of control again. So sellers are going to have one more go here. If they cannot get back below this, they're going to start getting stuck. Oh. Right, they are trying to get this breakdown to come and clean out these stops. And then what they want to do is get down into these 630s. That's what they are attempting to do. There's a buyer here at 680 again. No worries, Carol. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not sure why you didn't get it. They're trying to fill this buyer at 680. If they fill through this, there's a bigger wash downside available. ES doing the same kind of move. VIX just stuck. Absolutely stuck. Here they come. I'm going to try and fill this 680 guy. Here he is, just underneath this. Some guy's front running him. It is 680, right? Yeah, 680.75. He should get filled here. And then let's see if they go through this low volume straight back down into this imbalance. And 660 would be next level that they're trying to fill. And they're offering 55s or bidding 55s now. So this guy's still not been filled into 680. 680, yeah, 680. Still not been filled. So they're front running it. And we continue to rotate from value area low. I'm surprised they haven't filled this guy. I might come back for him. And maybe not. We will see. Vic's still in no man's land. I've added TrendFriend Pro to the YouTube command list. Oh, nice one. Thanks, Adam. To identify zones for your trading, are you using 1 hour or you combine 1 hour, 4 hour? Top down, man. Top down. Weekly, daily, like we do at the beginning of each show. Weekly, daily, hourlies. All right, so weekly, daily, hourlies. And then once we get through that, we can look at everything else, like previous day's value areas, previous week's value areas. Where are the high volume nodes? Where is the S&R level? Does it match with a high volume node? Do we have an area of liquidity? Like, you've got to just get through the process of going through it every single day. And it becomes easier and easier because, you know, once you get through the process of doing it once, all you're doing is moving areas. But 1 hour and 4 hour will work for you, Peter, as long as you're zoomed out enough, right? No worries, Roscoe. You're long here, Trader Rick, sorry. Yeah. We'll see, won't we? We'll see. It's holding the bid very, very well here. There's cannot deny that it's holding the bid very, very well here. I just think there's a huge amount of liquidity or stops down here without a full retest of this area. But, you know, if they are going to bid up, I wouldn't be surprised to see it wash down here first, whether it's today, tomorrow, Wednesday, or next week. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come and retest this first, the way it's built this out. And once, if it can hold a pivot here and then do it, then I think it's a good area, right? Personally, you know, if you're looking for that rotation off one go, it makes sense based on what you're seeing here. But I wouldn't be surprised to see everyone get run out first and then them try and do it. But we will just see. You've got to trade what your setup is, like I said. It doesn't matter what I think. It only matters what your setup is. If your setup, if you've got proven track record trading that setup, you should absolutely be trading your setup. It really doesn't matter what I think. I'm just another guy on YouTube. The same way I don't care what anyone else thinks or what they do. I have to trade my edge. I think that makes sense, Rick. Rick's saying it's definitely a low volume week, so it's going to test my patience, taking small size given the weak backdrop. I think that is a wise and sensible decision. Yeah, exactly. Run the stops, reclaim, then go. That's where what I would think is probable. But it doesn't matter what I think. If your system tells you that you need to be bidding now, small size for a bigger swing, then that's what you should be doing. It doesn't matter what I say. You should be doing what your edge is, right? So, like, if that's what your edge is right now, and you're taking that position, you're doing the right thing. You can only trade your system and your edge. You're absolutely doing the right thing if that's what it says for you. Newbie, thanks for the indicator. I think I might be missing a piece of my trading, being selective and understanding trend, bias, momentum, control, and condition. And I know that you've watched my video, as your recent video describes. Yes, I think it's a good video. I think it would help a lot of people stay out of poor trades. That's normally what lets people down. They can spot good trades. They can't stay out of poor trades. What time frame am I watching? This is a 1 minute. I execute on a 1 minute. I'll be honest with you. I'm watching a 5 and a 1. Right. So once I've done my top down analysis, I have an hourly that I pay close attention to, and a 5 and a 1. Right. So when we come into areas of interest, I'm looking to see who's trapped and where they're trapped on the volume, on order flow, on footprint, on Bookmap, using a 5 minute and a 1 minute. That's what I'm looking at. All right, that's all I'm looking at. So like my 5 minute right here. All right, so I've got my flow zones on here on a 5 minute, and I'm just looking at where are shorts coming flying in, where did buyers get stuck this morning, where is value, where are we migrating, where are there stops that we can potentially run. And once we get into those areas on a 5 minute, then maybe I'm looking at a 1 minute, being like, okay, who can I see in a very low time frame who's getting themselves caught? I haven't tried deep charts. There's some guys in my group who have used them. I think they're very good. But what I'm using is very, very similar on NinjaTrader. Very, very similar. Thank you, Roscoe. Appreciate the kind words. Yeah, if anyone hasn't watched it, I dropped a new video at the weekend. I'll post it in chat. It's probably useful to you guys about when to get into a trade and why to get into a trade, and just building a very simple system, right, to give you context of what you're looking at on the day. And if you just go through it over and over and over again, if you get into it every day, that video right there, I would advise that you guys go and watch it. We're still just trading inside of the orb, inside of the IB, inside of value on the day. We're just rotating. I tell you what, if shorts don't get this breakdown soon, Rick will get his play, because they will get themselves stuck. They have tried here and here, and if they don't get this move soon, you will have a lot of shorts piled into this, and Rick will probably get that squeeze up to here, and if they get acceptance, then they have the next node. Do I know if there's another way to see delta levels on volume profile, like on deep charts? Like this. This is what I'm looking at. This is delta, right? This is volume. This is delta. So yes, but you need third-party apps to do it. But that's exactly what I have on NinjaTrader. Exactly what I'm looking at. Or alternatively, if you're using Bookmap, where's you guys here, you can watch this. This is your delta, right? This is why I have it next to price. So we have a big blue for me is positive delta, red is negative delta, and we're looking for outliers, big outliers, to see who's in control. Right, so that's why I also have the level 2 up. Someone asked earlier, do I watch the DOM? The answer is yes. Do I have a video on how to set it up on a 5-minute NT? It isn't on NT. Well, it is on NT, mate. But you'll need to. I'll send you a link afterwards. It's called City Footprint. You would have seen me and Mo talk about it in chat a few times in Discord. Do I recommend some good order flow platforms that have everything you would need in one platform, like Footprint, Heatmap? Yeah, I mean, what I'm using has all that. Right, this is on NinjaTrader using Cidi. Right, has all that. These are the big participants. This is Delta. This is volume profile. This is Delta at the bottom as well. Like, it has all that. There's tons and tons and tons. It's just finding one that you like at a price point that you're comfortable with. But we can go, those in Discord, we can go over this later. I have emailed them asking for a discount for students. So waiting to hear back. It is Christmas. They are in Germany. They will be celebrating. I probably won't get a response till January. Yeah, Mo is an expert. It's Mo that helped me out and get into it. And then we have slightly different setups, but we're looking at the same stuff. But yeah, like ask Mo in chat, like Mo in Discord, guys. He's well versed in it. Okay, coming back down. They're trying to break down. They're going to try and come for these lows again. All right, again. This is where the big selling keeps coming in at 90s. They are not finding good flush under 90s. What they're trying to do, they're not getting it. They're trying to get a good move under 90 to come and clean out these stops. So 80s, 82s and 80s is where I can see a buyer on the tape right now trying to absorb. The question is, do we run the stops? Qs are just stuck between the 5-day and the 20-day. If you look at QQQ, it's stuck right between the 5-day and the 20-day today. Still no stop run of these lows. The more they try and the more they don't get it, the more annoyed they're going to get. That bid just moved up from 80 to 87. So someone's been trying to cover down there. He's starting to get upset he's not getting filled, and he's starting to walk his bid up to try and get filled. So he's at 87s now. Yes, Discord is for members only. Yeah, people have done the 20-hour course. It's no monthly fee. It's just a one-time fee to do the course in Discord. Like I said, guys, it's just to make sure everyone's trading the same way. How long can you leave the delay? I think it's 48 hours, Market Stalker. And don't quote me on that, but it used to be 48 or 72 hours on Apex. Check the FAQs though. VIX looks absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's just stuck, completely stuck, and it's trading downside of anything, building liquidity to go lower on the VIX. So the opposite to what you'd want to see if you were bearish on this tape right now. You can see we're starting to wedge in, and someone is going to get hurt soon. All right, starting to wedge in. Sellers need this breakdown under here to here, and they are not getting it. Buyers are going to look for a squeeze above this into this. All right, and this is the wedge building out, liquidity building out. Someone's going to get hurt. It's a matter of time. Yeah, well, we expected it, didn't we? Low volume day. This is what we expect. This is absolutely what we expect. There you go, Market Stalker. Someone just answered you 2 days. So I said 48 to 72 hours here. You have 2 days to activate it. Okay, how many likes we got on stream? Should we do some giveaways here? What are we up to? Nowhere near enough, guys. We need 400 likes. 550 of you watching, and we've only had 250 likes. Smash that like button. Let's get it up at least 350, and we'll do an Apex giveaway and maybe a course. At least 350. Just smash that like button. Doesn't cost you anything. Tape's gone a bit quiet here. It's like it's stopped. How much is the course? It's $6.49 for the 20-hour course with the flow zones in Discord, and it's $3.99 for the volume and order flow course. There is a discount on that course right now if you use. Sorry, I'm just watching this buyer step in. If you use code launch in capitals, you'll get $100 off the volume profile course. Okay, TJ, can you email me so I can check your email and I'll add it to it if it's not there? Oh, you did this morning? Okay, so let me, as soon as I get off stream, mate, I'll do it. Let me see. I haven't seen your email. Hang on, let me check my other account. Maybe spam. Did you email the right account? I haven't had an email, bud. Are you in Discord, TJ, or not? Shoot me an email, info@flowzonetrader.com. I'll get it fixed for you if it's not there. Okay, buyers looking to try and force this squeeze up at the moment. Sellers not getting that breakdown. We are just stuck and sideways. I'd love to do a giveaway here. Here's the New York Open. Okay, well, if you fill out the EMA form, I'll do it after stream. I can't do everything at once, guys. I can't drop everything for because one of you suddenly filled out a form. All right, but what I can do is definitely sort out TJ. Just shoot me another email, TJ, because I haven't got it. I did just check spam as well. Okay, so buyers looking to try and squeeze these shorts out here for relief. Yes, not through that New York Open. Market's gone to sleep here volume-wise. It's very, very sleepy. It's gone to sleep. Gone to sleep. So sellers couldn't get under these 90s. And buyers now, if they can hold anywhere in here, they will try and complete this rotation up into this. If they fail, it's still the same thing, right? It's a build out of liquidity. Sellers need to complete this rotation under here to here, and they've failed so far. Buyers will need to get relief into here, and if they can cause a squeeze, good for them. But for me, it's just a no trade. And there's just not enough here to trade with. You're looking at like 20 points in here right now, edge to edge. Like, ugh. We'll just wait and see. Okay, let's do some giveaways. Have you hit enough? When will the volume be back to normal? Well, have a guess. When everyone goes back to work, which would be January, right? Most people will take prolonged holidays over this time. $10 more likes, folks. 10 more likes, please. 350 minimum here. 350 minimum here. Back down to the underside of this range now. These guys cannot make up their mind up what they want to do. And now this bid has just fallen out bed at the low side of this, which is hilarious. And they're still not taking it out. Yeah, it's an introductory course though, guys. Don't get too excited. I'm not giving you the full courses. Same as always, it's the introduction course. Okay, let's bring this up. Right, let's do Apex first. Code FCT, get you 90% off Apex right now. Just type that in chat once, and I'll give one of you away. Course of any size you want. So just type it once. You don't need to spam. If you spam, it will automatically pull you out. You only need to type it once, folks. Just type it once. be nice if they complete this rotation one way or another. It might actually set something up for the next day or two. Give you guys a couple minutes to do that. ES coming into its lows as well. I'd say SPY 685 is probably a big gamma level. Let's see if they can get there, though. They can't even break this IB low yet. We are completely stuck. This market's completely gone to sleep. 1 more minute. Aha, I think I just see you. There we go. Ah, thanks, Todd. Okay, I see it. I'm going to get you set up now while you guys are entering this. Sorry, folks. Let me just get Todd set up here. Should work now, Todd. That should be fixed for you. Sorry about that, mate. All right, let's pull a winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ransom Baggins 9301. Are you here, Ransom Baggins? What a name. Let me know you're here. There you go. All right, Ransom. Free Apex account on the way to you. I'll copy your name so I know. All you've got to do, email me, info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged into your YouTube so I can see that you own the account, and I will sort you out with a free Apex account of any size that you want. All right, congratulations. Remember, guys, Apex is on sale right now. 90% off, ends Jan 6th. Code FCT will get you 90% off. Let's give you guys another giveaway here. All right, we're going to do the introduction course. Just type course once in chat. You only need to type it once. Just type course once in chat. We're starting to see this breakdown now. I want to see if they can. You want to see if they can attack these stops down here. All right, and if they do attack these stops down here, I do think we have unfinished business at the lows, but it's a big if right now, folks. I would say it's a very, very big if. Every time they've come down here, they've been absorbed. There is a buyer on the tape here, 370 lot. Let's see if he's legit or not in front of 75. Yes, about to take out that pivot, that pre-market pivot, 9 a.m. Can it do it is the question. It's right into it right now. Gone wick to wick. Does it run the stops down here or not? It's not really getting going yet. So we will see, folks. You will see. So ES is already down here. All right, ES is already down here. That bid just pulled, so he's a spoof. Mr. Spoof on the tape. Just be careful, Mr. Spoof on the tape. Is there anyone lower? 667, 657, 650, 630s. All right, 630s would be good. That's basically into your previous week value area low, which is what we're talking about. That low hanging fruit. If we can, if we can get there, if we can get there. Has ES taken that liquidity yet? Still not. It's coming though. Okay, ES now about to take it, and if they flush and recover, I'd be careful here on Qs. It's gone tick for tick. You need a flush here. And if you were short, remember, anything down here, you want to be covering some of your position. Yeah, it's not willing to run it out yet. What indicators am I using, guys? I'm using my flow zones, right? It's my system. You get a version of it with the course, or you can upgrade to the full version, or you can buy it on my website if you're interested. There's no pressure to do that, but there you go. All right, let's draw a winner of this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Edward Ruxons. Are you here? Edward Ruxons. Edward Ruxons. Making a note of your name. Are you here, my friend? There you are. All right, Edward, same thing for you, please. All right. Take a screenshot of you logged into YouTube. Send it to me, info@flowzonetrader.com of you logged in, and I will sort you out with a free introduction course. And that will also mean you get $100 off if you ever want to do the main course as well. Nice. Thanks, man. All right, so we've got 15, 20 minutes left. Market's trying to trade lower. Has ES wicked it yet? Still not. So ES has gone wick to wick with that pre-market low. Looking to see if they flush that level and run the stops. At the moment, they keep bidding off it. You think volume profile is useless? Are you okay? Really? I don't think so. It probably means you don't understand how volume works, because volume profile is definitely not useless, is it? It's clearly showing you that we're in a rotational day. It's clearly showing you that it's built out a node here. It's clearly showing you that unfinished business is down here. If it can get it, it's clearly showing you that it can't find acceptance above here. But you know what? It must be that all the traders around the world who use volume profile must not know what they're doing. Motive wave, yeah, I've heard motive wave. Very good. We are stuck. Market is asleep. Market is asleep. Oh. I don't think this is accurate because you can see it's not giving you the good zones to buy or sell. What the fudge are you on about, mate? I'm going to ignore stuff like that. Its job is to show you what is happening based on volume. It is clearly showing you what is happening based on volume. How you want to interpret that is up to you. Activation fee on 25K, I think is $60 right now, XB. %95 of traders fail, so yeah, they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, 95% of retail traders do not use volume. Most of them use imaginary gaps, imaginary information. It's funny. Such a strong opinion followed by thanks for the explanation. That says everything you need to know about retail right there. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not showing me what to do. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Oh, thanks for explaining it. And that sums up retail. How about taking the time to learn something first? Have I heard of Patrick Whelan? Yes, of course I've heard of Patty boy. I'm long Bitcoin from 110. It's not going higher. It doesn't work. Oh, God. I bought silver at all-time highs because the market said it's going to go higher. It's not working. Why isn't it working? It's wrong. Come on, guys. Oh, gosh. Volume's literally gone to sleep, folks. I'm literally watching a book. You got one player sort of pinning it every now and again and pulling. There's nothing else happening. It's completely on sleep. Everyone's left the tape. We've done 2 giveaways. I'm definitely not going full Patrick this morning. Definitely not. You're welcome, man. You're welcome, man. I'm definitely not going full Patty this morning. I haven't sworn at any of you. I haven't screamed at any of you. I haven't shut the chat down. I'm just saying, like, don't comment on whether something works or doesn't work if you don't know what you're looking at, right? It's like me. I couldn't go and look at a car engine and be like, "Oh, that's fucking broken." I haven't got a Scooby Doo what's going on if I look at something like that. Not yet. Yeah, not yet. It's coming. The rant is coming. It's definitely not coming, guys. I'm so chill today. Yeah, this is me being calm. Okay, still nothing happening here. Divergence to ES. Did ES break down that pre-market low? It didn't. It did sweep the initial balance low, though. All right, if we want to have a look at the ES, we did see a sweep of the IB low right here. We're not finding acceptance below it, though, right now. All right, we can't find acceptance. We didn't sweep pre-market. That's what I was looking to see if we would sweep it. And you'll see some form of compression here, okay? If they don't fill their obligation, if they cannot successfully take out all these stops and shorts keep piling in, at some point, you might get that short covering rally, which is what I think Rick was looking for, the start of a short covering rally. Just depends whether NQ, which is holding up pretty well right now. Remember, we haven't swept this low, but we are, like we talked about, in this sort of zone that we pivoted from this morning. So if we think about structure, there's your pre-market flush. There's the breakdown, there's the pivot off, there's the first retest, and we're just building out volume here. Remember, we're in a rotational market. There's your shape right now, condensing in here. Longs are looking for a break above the teens and 20s. Shorts are looking for a continuation below the 80s and definitely below the 60s to get down into these pockets here. This is what shorts are trying to do. This is where longs are trying to get back to. All right, here and here. And that's it. We are pinned right now on low vol. And you've got, what, 10 minutes left. I'm just reading your comments, folks. I'm not going to read them all out loud, but that's great to hear, Abby. That's awesome to hear. I'm glad it's helping. What do I think about gold after this little crash? Looks fine. What's the volume like? When I'd start getting concerned about gold, right, I would, like, a bid will probably come in around this shelf. Maybe it comes in here. What I'd be concerned about is if you get a failure to follow through. If you push up and you leave these guys trapped, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days worth trapped, and a deeper pullback into here maybe, and then if there's a continuation to the bottom side of this range. But at the moment, it looks okay. I wouldn't be like bidding on this market necessarily, like swing. But if you're swing long in gold and have been, you know, since this pullback, remember the last time I played gold was a short here, right? For this move, we've accumulated since. Okay, the pullback into this sort of range here is what they're trying to hold for a repush higher. Okay, if you start to see failures to reclaim and start to go backside without the ability to reclaim, that's when I'd be more concerned about gold doing a bigger pullback. But, you know, with what's going on macro-wise, I think it looks okay right now. Same in silver. I mean, if we look at expansion of this range, came right up to the 4s. If we think about retracement from pivot low, right, it's still healthy, it's fine, it hasn't even retraced 50%. Remember we talked about it, like this move last week was a 25% push up. You have to understand how big a move this was on low volume. Where's last week? Monday. Almost 25%, right? It's a big fucking move. 1, 2, 3, 4 days. It needed and it needs a pullback. Okay, what you don't want to do is the guy who's like, oh, silver's at all-time highs, I'm buying. Right, you're becoming the liquidity for them to sell into. You got to remember how an auction works, right? They can't sell. They, market makers, institutions, can't sell to nobody. They need retail, all right? They need retail the other side of the trade. So hysteria, silver at all-time highs, hysteria. CNN, CNBC, BBC, ITV, whatever. Oh, silver at all-time highs, great time to buy it. All right, you all go rush and buy it. Institutions go, thanks. There's my profit taking. Pair off the market. Flushes back down. Retail starts to panic. Sell. Oh my God, I did the worst thing ever. Sell. Institutions bid it back up. All right, you have to understand how the auction works. It is about buying low and selling high, but it's about using the liquidity at those levels to be able to get enough size on to buy and sell where they want. Did you just fucking call me Patrick? Am I about to go absolutely mental here? My name is not Patrick. I execute on a 1 or a 5 minute, my friend. Correct. If it's in the news, it's in the price, right? We're forward looking in the market. We price in ahead of the news, right? Ahead of the news. It's why you often see, like, you know, big news events, it's already priced in. The news event comes and you get the dump. It's already priced in. Some say that futures are such an efficient market, it's difficult to find edge. Have you used a variation of your methodology on equities? Yeah, I would agree with that. I think futures are a very, very efficient market. Doesn't mean that there is an edge. You have to be very, very patient. But you're not, or you're... It's not true always, because silver is a prime example. Okay, if you've taken that short position on silver overnight, it was very, very clearly needed that retracement. All right, like I don't even know, but I can guarantee you it's well outside of standard deviation. We will just have a look. All right, let's go to our daily. All right, let's look at silver. Okay, surprise, we're outside of standard deviation, right? We're well over 2 standard deviations. In fact, I'd say we're probably at 3 standard deviations plus. Let me have a look from the 20-day. There you go. So 2.5, just shy of 3 standard deviations. We were 2.7 standard deviations outside of the mean on silver. Okay, so I already know markets cannot live outside 2 standard deviations. Almost all markets, unless you're talking about small cap, and even those traditionally, can live outside 3. This, all right, is a fantastic condition to be short on silver. all right, for a mean reversion trade. Where's the first reversion? 5-day, second reversion, 20-day, all right, outside of Bollinger Band, overextension. So to say that there's no edge would be incorrect. To say there's less edge, I would say is correct. Why? Because you've got more vehicles to trade in stocks. Okay, so if we think about something equivalent of in stocks, I don't know, let's look at some of the high gamma exposure names. RGTI, for example. Can we find that? RGTI. Okay, this, right, is very, very clearly a short squeeze on continuation on retail getting trapped, right? Big move, first condition, second condition, there's the trap. That fade from here back down to where it came from is a highly probability trade, all right? You're not going to see that setting up on NQ very regularly, all right? So when people say that about defining edge and do stocks and single names have more edge? Yeah, frequently they do. And if you think about, you've got 500 stocks plus to look at, and that's on the S&P alone. If you want to include the New York Stock Exchange even more, if you want to include small caps even more, right, then you have more opportunities in those names to find. Really what you're talking about is finding participants offside. That's really what we're talking about all the time. When we talk about efficiency, we're talking about finding participants offside. So I would agree with that to an extent. But what I'd say is, if you learn to trade this market, whether it be Qs, ES, gold, whatever, if you learn the personalities, you will be able to find some edge there. It's just very much about being patient. Where are you based in the UK? I'm not. I'm based on Los Angeles. I'm from London, but I'm based in LA. What is my setup to take a trade? My favorite setup will be multi-time frame trap participants. Okay, multi-time frame trapped participants. So if we have left a volume shelf, we've talked about this a few times last week. Let's think about it. I can give you examples of trades I like. Here, this was a trade we participated in with size, right? Because we left a 2-week balance range trapped, fail breakout, fail breakout, fail breakout. Everyone who's long in there is caught, failure to reclaim. That is a high probability, higher time frame short. So we look for a lower time frame entry, short, short. Here, we traded the squeeze back up while everyone else was looking short. This was an old naked point of control on a weekly chart. Once we hit this and we started reclaiming, everyone was looking for a continuation, had not very many reasons to go lower. This was a long back up. I'd say this is an A trade. This up here was an A plus scenario. These fades here were A plus. This is probably an A setup. This right here is like a C setup for me. It's like, I don't really want to trade inside these. I'm interested above here or below here or for a reclaim here, right? So that's how I deem it. Easy way of putting that, I'm looking for a pro trend. I'm looking for alignment where what I'm seeing on an intraday session aligns with my thesis on a higher time frame session, and we're at a key area. Just because, I mean, it doesn't have an accent doesn't mean you live there. Maybe I've missed comments above. But yeah, I'm from London, guys, but I live in Los Angeles. How do I use IB for trading? Like, you look for breakout failure patterns for those levels, or you just use for reference? Yeah, absolutely. I use it to tell me what the condition is. Go and watch my video that I posted on Friday or Saturday. All right, this is a prime example. All right, can we find acceptance outside of value, outside of initial balance? No. Are we outside of current day's value? No. Are we outside of previous week's value? No. Are we in a low volume day? Yeah. So what's my expectation? Rotation. I'm not expecting a trend. If we can't get outside of anything here, this is screaming, and we just rotate and rotate and rotate and rotate. And maybe like buyers can rotate to here. Maybe they fell up here and we rotate down here. I'm not expecting a trend. So this is telling me the condition of the market. All right, this is telling me the condition of the market. Opening range. Are we outside opening range? No. Are we outside of value? No. Condition of the market is to build liquidity right now. We're in a liquidity building phase of the market. We're not in a trending phase of the market right now. What's my soccer team? Arsenal. How do I end up in LA? My wife took a job, so we left. We left London. You're going to enter a short now. What do I think? I don't think it's particularly wise, but if that's your setup, you go ahead. But I don't think I see market wanting to do that. Auditions? What do you mean? Auditions for what? I can't. I'll be a terrible actor. I don't know what could I audition for, JD? Do I have math entry by like buy one, full by three? No, that's called averaging into a loser. It's the worst thing you can do. No. Opening range, whatever you want it to be. Initial balance is the first hour. Opening range, most people will play a 30-second, 5-minute, or a 15-minute opening range. Yeah, I'm fucking Gooner. And guess what? We are top of the league. Top in Europe, top in Premiership. Don't want to hear all that. That's where we are going into the new year. Can we get the job done? We'll see. If some fucking strikers can start scoring, it'd be nice. Shakespeare. Oh gosh, I got nothing. Yeah, exactly. I'm with Adam here. Any Arsenal slander, instant ban. You'll never be welcome here again. Once price breaks out of accumulation, should we wait for a retest of range or enter immediately on the breakout? That is down to you and your trading style. Are you a breakout trader or are you a break and retest trader? Do you like to play against volume that's been built or not? I can't tell you the answer to that. That's down to you. Nice one, Aaron. Hope you're good, mate. City will catch us, so I hope not. I hope not. They look dangerous, though. I mean, Haaland's just... They'll need him to be injured or something. Gorkires is not a Haaland right now. He is not finishing like a Haaland. Right, we're into lunch here, folks. We're into lunch. No, you can't do... Guys, I'm going to help you out here. I can tell some of you guys. You can't do a stop loss based on percentage, and you can't do... Well, you can. You can do what you want. But if you're doing a stop loss based on percentage or a take profit based on percentage, you are ignoring what the charts are telling you. You are totally ignoring it, right? Your stop needs to be where your trade is no longer valid. Your TP should be up to a level, if we're long, up to a potential level of resistance, up to an area of liquidity. And then after that, we're looking at the next area. If you're just doing it based on, well, this is what I want, well, let me tell you something. Market don't give a flying F about what you want, right? It doesn't care. So you have to trade what's in front of you. That is structure. You have to trade the structure in front of you. All right? If I'm going to put my stop here, let's say I'm long now, and I put my stop here, well, market don't care about that, all right? Even under here, right? Maybe I can be like, oh, I hope the market protects that, or I hope the market protects that, or I hope the market protects that. These are the swing points that the market's going to look to run. If I put my stop in front of them, then it's highly likely that I'm going to get stopped out, isn't it? It doesn't care about percentages, right? It does not care about what you think, what you want. Take that out of it. You have to play based on what the market is showing you, not what you want, what it's showing you. Why the Man City blue candles are a fair point, mate. I mean, a fair point there. What shall I change them to? Everyone's got a colour. There you go. There you go, SFC. There you go. All right, folks. I think I'm going to get out of here. Just a reminder, the sale for the volume profile and order flow course will end Jan 1st. Okay, at Jan 1st, that will end. So if you are interested in doing it and you want $100 off, sale will end Jan 1st. Prices on the mentorship, the 20-hour beginner to advanced course, will be going up next year. Just do what you want, like I always say. Go and I do so many free videos. Just go and do all those first. You don't have to spend money. But if you are interested, that is what's going to happen. And the sale on Apex, I believe, is till Jan 6th. You still have a sale on most of the other sites right now if you're interested. I did do a video on my favorite ones right now. Please don't trade with funding ticks. Okay, they will steal your money and they are absolute assholes. Don't trade with them. The ones you need to be trading with: Lucid, Funded Next, Apex, Take Profit Trader, Tradeify. There are some outside of those, but those would be my top 5 for 2026. Okay, please, 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 please do not trade with funded ticks. Okay, they have clearly they must have some liquidity issues or something. Stay away from them. They will take your money from you. All right, if you've got accounts with them, don't go and blow those accounts up. But I wouldn't buy any more accounts with them. All right. Well, the thing is, Radical, a few months ago, they were fine. It's only become a problem in the last 5 days. So it wouldn't have made a difference to you a few months ago. We were all taking big fat payouts from them a few months ago. No, haven't traded with Funded Futures Network. What happened with Funded Ticks? I think they have some liquidity issues. So they retrospectively changed all the rules. So if you log into your account, you'll probably see that you're missing a decent chunk of profit. They've changed the rules on how many days you need to trade, what profit targets you need to hit, how long you need to hold trades for. They will lose they already have. They've lost a ton of support now. So just be careful. Normally, if people are doing retrospective changes, it's because they have some liquidity issues. As in, they're paying out too many traders. They're losing money. They need to stop. All right. But all the links and the codes for my favorite prop firms, they're all down below. So obviously, I do make commission on that. But if you want to use the codes, they will always get you the best price. Code FCT for most prop firms, other than Take Profit, which is Flow Zone. All right. Yeah, lots of you still made some winning there, which is good. Giant Rider up 440 this morning. Thank you for your insight and teaching. You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. Thanks, Jeremiah. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Took a payout and done with Funded Ticks. Yeah, that's how I feel. I think I took 3 or 4 payouts. No, they didn't even respond to me. And they sent that email out the weekend, which is just utter bollocks. Just not good people. Yeah, every morning. Yeah, anyone that's new, I'm live here every morning, 9:15 Eastern time, all the way into lunch, right? It's important that you show up at 9:15, not 9:30, in my opinion, because I go through the pre-market and what I'm looking at. It's there that you're going to learn what we're looking at each day, the process of where we are, where we're opening up, what the potential trade setups are. Remember, your profits come from planning, right? The process, the planning, that's what leads to the profits, not just turning up and just hitting buy or sell. Okay, so you're starting to see these stops starting to get popped. So this is what I'm saying. If you put a stop loss on based on percentage, it wouldn't have helped you. We're going to start running these out. All right, folks. That's awesome to hear. I'm glad, Tommy. All right, guys, back tomorrow morning. All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll go again. Make sure you check out all those free videos I posted at the weekend. I think you'll find them useful. Peace and love, everyone. Use hard stops. Remember, it's low volume. Don't be expecting too much. And yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow.